What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 266. We're back, people. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and today I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? Happy 2020.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo.
Adam Vale.
Brooklyn for life, suckers.
Brian Manjoma.
Man, that PS5 logo.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Please.
All right, and we got two special guests. First up, one of the originators of Throwdown, Mr. Riku-san 1, the only one.
Yo, what's up, my nice people? How's it going?
All right, and back with us once again, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Hip Hop Gamer.
No stranger to danger. Number one journalist. Quickly, I changed the game up. What's going on, baby? Throw down. What up, son?
All right,
What's
all
up?
right.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Spin the belt. Let's go.
Yeah, man. All right, before we start, you already told us some of this, but yo, what's been going on in your world lately, man? It's been a while since we had you on Throwdown, so just, keep everybody updated. What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, a whole lot, man. First of all, thanks for having me on, dog.
All right.
I appreciate it. So, like, the first out of many things, but I won't, be too long-winded. But the first thing is shout out to Mountain Dew. You know what I'm saying, with the Game Fuel, really looking forward to working with them on another level to bring them more into the culture beyond just being a product. You know what I'm saying, in the space. So stay tuned for that. That's one. Shout out to the NBA and the NBA 2K League. Looking to do something real huge with them. So stay tuned for an announcement that I'm gonna be heavily involved with the NBA 2K League. So stay tuned for that, and the NBA as a whole as well. So I've been working on that. So that's coming through. That's great. Third, Def Jam Records. All day, getting them back into the culture of gaming, beyond just, Fight for New York and Vendetta. Def Jam as a brand, as a label, as a movement will have a bigger presence in gaming, and stay tuned for how I make those things happen. So I'm very excited about Def Jam.
I'm glad you didn't talk about Icon, because that was a whack.
No, can't do that. Icon, yeah, that's where they lost it. I ain't like Icon at all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so doing that with Def Jam, so that's great. Shout out to Def Jam all day. Shout out to Arcade 1UP, had a great CES, revealing that NBA Jam, Star Wars, and other joints. Looking forward to doing something huge with Arcade 1UP culturally, being a partner with them. So that's gonna be, I can't wait for that one. Like, that's gonna be, all of them is gonna be crazy. But Arcade 1UP, because of the classic, the nostalgia, the way I'm gonna blend it in is gonna be different. The industry ain't see this one coming. So I'm excited about that. And man, so many. Like I said, I recently had Tiffany Haddish on the show, and the other lady I was telling you about,
Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek.
We'll never
from
forget that
on and stuff like that. Yeah. You know what? I forgot to mention. You know who I had on the show the other day? Stifler's mom.
Really?
Oh,
shit. Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Heard up. I had Stifler's mom. Well, another thing that I'm doing, like, I know y'all see me do, tons of red carpets and movie premieres and stuff like that. So I got more, I got a lot bigger in media now. So I'm doing a lot more stuff with, actors and, movie writers. Like, I had Michael Bay on the show and Ryan Reynolds last week. You know what I'm saying? So,
in the new Ninja Turtle movie. Here we go. Go.
It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, just been doing a whole bunch of stuff, Ambox as well. Big shout out to Ambox, the esports clothing line for the industry. They're owned by the New York Mets, and I'm building a huge partnership with them. And shout out to Michael B. Jordan, who just joined Ambox, so that's gonna be crazy as well. Getting that energy and getting him involved there, and go see the Just Mercy movie with Jamie Foxx. Shout out to Jamie Foxx too. That's my man right there. He's incredible. It's just a lot, man. Just doing a lot of stuff, man. So that's just a few things to name.
We need a spreadsheet, just like filling up all the pinpoints,
Yeah, it's
definitely have a lot going on, man.
Yeah, like my girl, she always says that I have an ESPN rundown of all the stuff that I'm doing. So that's just some of the rundown, you know what I mean? But I'm very thankful, and one out of many of my goals was to be the face of all things hip hop and gaming and all of entertainment, because I'm the purist in the culture when it comes to, as a gamer, just playing all the games, studying it. My grandmother, she's the one who taught me and brought me in the gaming industry, not the gaming industry, but brought me into gaming when I was 4 years old. And in terms of hip hop, I don't just love it or grew up in it, but I'm an artist as well, making songs for games. Like, for example, Dying Light 2 and Watch Dogs Legion. I got new songs for those games for this year that I'm doing some things with the company. So it's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. So I'm very thankful and humbled, but my goal is just to always bring that together in a way where it's authentic and people could enjoy it and see the representation.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. All right, so yeah, we're back, people. 2020, we took a nice 2 weeks off. We're refreshed here, and of course, we had to get hip hop on to be like the first show to set things off. Now, hip hop, man, you set the world on fire as soon as the year started, bro, with some crazy ass news, man. Like,
they won.
Yeah, you know what? I'll let you take this over because what's going on with PlayStation 5 and backwards compatibility? Because you're like the source for this shit. Like everyone's licking to you right now. So what's going on, man?
So and before we address all of that, before we recorded, when I said that I'll wait till we go live to tell you stuff like that. So last week, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure which episode it was of the Throwdown.
It was just a live stream. It was just a regular live stream. We weren't doing any episodes. We were on vacation during that point.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was saying, what I wanted to address is, the saying where it's like, people laughing. There's people that laugh with you and people that laugh at you. Yeah, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning of the episode, I'm not sure who all was on it, but the energy. Because you know how it is. Me and Torrance, we joke all the time. You know how it is. You know when something's a joke and you know when something's a little weird. So I wanted to make sure that everything was cool because the energy kind of came off like more of a mockery, like this dude hip hop game, whatever. Like, I don't need to rock with this dude anyway, but let me just get him on.
Nah, we were mocking, we weren't mocking, but I know what you're saying because we did have some people that are not regulars of the show, and they may have been mocking you. But us here, we know you, son.
All right. Like I said, we joke about like my TV because remember when you got the.
I ain't talking about that. I'm not talking about that. That's all I love. I'm not talking about that. I love that. I created that. I created that. What I was saying is I don't remember who it was or whatever because I didn't recognize the voices, but whoever it was, it's like the energy was more so like who the F is this dude? Why we even talk to him? Like, and it came off as if like, wait, hold up, let me reassess this because Tony of all people, I know that's like my dude, so I know he wouldn't create a scenario where you got people that. The underlining of the person really got like some sort of hate towards me on the show saying things because you know how it is. You can crack a bug out friends as friends, but then you have those friends that use that title, but they not really your friend and don't have that intention for you. You know what I'm saying?
And then they want to hit you with the passive aggressive stuff.
Yeah, no, I do want to say this. Like, if you got that kind of vibe, that must have been the other dudes. Because again, if we're gonna like say something that's like. Could be construed as making fun. It's coming from us. We don't. There's no hatred coming from you.
All right. All right. Yeah. I know that. But the thing is, like I said, I didn't recognize.
No, but I'm glad you're telling us this. I'm glad you're telling us this. We're definitely not trying to do that with you, bro.
No. Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to set the tone, before we even started talking about anything, because people's time is valuable. Yeah. And I don't waste mine. You understand? That's the first thing. And the second. And the second thing is. I don't get mad at anything. I just like to address stuff because one thing about me is if I look at anything, especially negativity, I get excited when I see anything negative because it puts me in a position to have power to try to make something positive out of the situation to bring people together. And you know me, I'm all about how can we make things better. I'm all about love and all figuring it out. So when I heard that and I heard that energy. Look, I'm from the hood too. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from the hood too. But I'm not a street dude to the point where I'm all about the drama. I'm all about figuring out how can we fix this if there is a problem because I'm not about problems. I'm about trying to figure out how we can do better together. Yeah. That's the way I am. So I just wanted to clear that up because I wasn't sure if those people was on this episode or whatever because these are things that I like to address before it gets further.
Yeah, no. The only guys on that episode that were here right now is just me and Carlos, and you know us.
Okay.
Oh, you and Carlos.
Oh yeah, Manny was there too.
Yeah, I was there too.
Oh, was this when my monitor broke?
No. You don't play Monster Hunter.
I think this was the very last one.
Yeah.
It was a stream.
Hold on a second. What happened? What?
Like,
Nah, I don't think it's gonna let me. I don't think it's gonna let me do it. You want me to just turn it off for a second so you go past?
hip hop's house drama going on.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, go ahead, man. All right. Anyway, man. Well, we'll come back to us when you're ready, man. So anyway, yeah.
No, I'm still here. Okay. I just had to turn it off for a second. I'll turn it back on shortly.
But yeah. Okay, so yeah, we got to talk about this because and I've said this during the live stream, and I'm gonna say it again, right? Obviously, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm like, yo, okay, I could see PS1, PS2, PS4 being on PS5, right? No problem. The PS3 and that cell processor, man, that's the problem. So what did your sources say regarding emulating those games? Yeah.
I'm gonna break the whole thing down.
Yeah, go ahead,
that's what I'm here. I'm here to break the whole thing down.
All right.
So here's the first thing, right? So back in 2018. Shout out to Michael Pachter. That's my bro right there. Love him. So back at 2018, at Pachter's party, someone that I spoke to, I can't reveal the sources. I can't get nobody in trouble. Mm-hmm. So at Michael Pachter's party, somebody that I spoke with, very powerful person. Just know that. Right? If you ever been to a Michael Pachter party, you know what's up. So a very powerful person in the industry. So when we was talking, PlayStation Now happened to come up in the conversation and stuff like that, right? So then when I was talking to him about it, I was like, well, yo, like when will we be able to because you could download PlayStation 4 games and you could download PlayStation 2 games. Yeah. You can't download PS3 games and just run them. You can only stream them, on the PS4. And then on top of that, when we was having a conversation, I was like, yo, so when it comes to PlayStation Now, in terms of the overall goal, I remember, if you go back to 2013 when David Perry had said their goal is to make sure that PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 could all be, on one platform. If you go back to 2013, this is what he said, because the goal, and Sony greenlit it. It was one of the biggest, most ambitious things that they did greenlight. And the reason why they did it is because they didn't want the fans to be left behind with all the games that they grew to love, because that's still a part of their audience. You understand what I'm saying? This is literally what he has said. So when I was talking to the person I was talking to, I was like, how is that going to go forward if PlayStation Now is the only way that doing this? You know what I'm saying? Because PS2 had backwards compatibility, PS3, the first one, the first batches did, and then it's it fell through. So part of the process was when they developed the PS4, their main goal was making sure that it's easy to develop for. Period. Their first and foremost thing, their main thing was features and making sure it was perfect, to develop for, and people was happy when it came to the development cycle. Obviously, they achieved that, but that was the first thing. When it comes to backwards compatibility, they still want to be there, but going forward, they trying to find a way where it can exist even without the need for PlayStation Now. So then I was like, okay, that's interesting, but obviously it's not enough. But I've been sitting on this information for a few years. But from that conversation, it wasn't enough for me to jump the gun. Yeah. But I was like, okay, this is interesting because based off that conversation, they still want to make sure that PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4 can all be experienced on one box. That was the ultimate overall goal out the gate. Now, that's what they wanted to do. So that's what I got from that. Now, before I leave that conversation, one thing that was very interesting was when we was talking about the PS3 in particular, the way PlayStation Now works, it works because they created a motherboard that runs on a server so that they can run the PS3 games on PS4 right now in the form of streaming. So it's not emulation. It's already hardware based right now. That's
right, yeah.
Well, but I mean, but PlayStation Now is literally just running video to your console. There's obviously it's doing imports, but you're essentially playing. It's like you're playing. You're
playing a YouTube video.
It's remote.
You're playing essentially a remote machine. Yeah.
I understand that, but what I'm saying, it was still built on on hardware that will allow you to even do that. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just telling you from what I was told, and I was like, oh, that's interesting because I never thought about it like that. But I was like, yo, that is true. And if you do the research, they'll tell you it's they created a motherboard because it's not emulation. They use a motherboard, and the motherboard was, I think, it replicated like 8 PS3 cores in order to run in a server rack in order for it to even exist. So we could play it or something like that. And I was like, yo, that's interesting. That was told to me. So I said, okay, cool. That was a lot of information right there. And then after that, we bounced because we had to pack the party. Like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna talk that long, but we had a good conversation. You know what I'm saying? And that came up, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the first part. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. So then the next thing is I'm playing PCSX2, and I got all these emulators on my PC, and I'm playing them, and I'm playing Bloody Raw, in like 4K. Like I'm playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in 4K. You can look at some of my streams and clearly see the difference in the game. I'm like, yo, I'm blown away by all of this. Like, this is crazy. Like, so I'm playing this, and then when I was doing some research, like, looking at the patents that came out, that Mark Cerny put out, and just seeing all of these things, one of the things that that I realized when they was talking about the timing, because there's 3 patents, I believe, in total, but one patent was talking about timing and rest mode and stuff like that. So even with the emulators, I could run it perfectly and it's amazing. But if I adjust like the emotion engine on PlayStation 2 and set certain megahertz to do certain things, it's going to run poorly. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And I was just learning more about it. Like, just for my own information, just learning more about it, seeing exactly how it works. And the way it works is, like, I was able to change a lot of things from within it, like the scaling of it. And then I was able to change all these things. And then I was like, yo, that's interesting, because if you play PlayStation if you play PlayStation 4, then you play PlayStation 4 Pro. If I put God of War in PlayStation, the base PlayStation, it's going to work, it's going to run, it's going to be amazing. If I put it in PS4 Pro, naturally it's going to be better because the system, is better. So it does it naturally. But even on a PS4 Pro, you have it where they got like the super sampling mode, and you got boost mode, which if you utilize these things, or if you still only got a 1080p TV and not a 4K TV, it's going to super sample. So it's going to make it look better than what a traditional 1080p image would be, because the resolution will scale down so it could be better, and you get rid of the jaggies and stuff like that with the anti-aliasing. So I was just learning more about how all this stuff is coming about based on the conversations that I had before. So then the next thing that happened that brought me closer to this was when Jim Ryan was saying how it's very important to make sure that we could do the transition from PS4 to PS5 as easy as possible. Yeah. And stuff like that. And in doing that, we must focus on backwards compatibility, at the highest level. So when people get a PS5, they don't feel like they're leaving anything behind. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. Okay, I get that. Even though it's PS4 that was mentioned, I get that, but that still wasn't enough. So then a few marketing people that I had a conversation with that's with PlayStation, and some that's working alongside PlayStation, because remember, the company that was with PlayStation that started the Greatness Awaits campaign and stuff like that, they got fired. Well, I'm not sure if they got fired or they just decided to part ways, or however it is.
They went with a new marketing.
But they went with a new marketing company and stuff like that. Now, I was like, okay, this is interesting. So let me see what's up. Because I know I have a lot of people that's tied to these things. Because what you have to understand, and especially in my position, like, I deal with everyone. So, for example, you see like some of the models that you have that would do a commercial for PlayStation or a commercial for Nintendo. Yeah. Like, even Kevin Butler, he's an actor. Like, he's an actor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this other stuff. Like, they all attach to different agencies. And I work with these agencies too. You understand what I'm saying? So I be talking to people where they be saying things they ain't supposed to say. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, this marketing conversation that I had was like the killer. And there's a couple of other things that was the killer that made me understand that this is 100% happening. And it made me feel comfortable enough with the sources that I had and the people that I spoke with in that level that I was like, I bet I'm gonna put this out. And the thing is, before I tell you this part, a lot of journalists, and you could call it as a call out if you want, but anybody can say, take it with a grain of salt. This is a rumor. and then in turn call themselves this insider or journalist or whatever. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my situation, and I always do this, I always put my name on the line. You know me, you know my face, so I can't escape anything if I turn out to be wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I put it on the line. That's why I get the biggest rewards in return. Because for the most part, I've been right about a lot of things. Right? No, nobody's perfect. For the most part, I have been. A major things. And I'm going to bring those things for those that's listening. That may not know my track record, or may not know the things I broke because you like to give certain credit. You understand?
Yeah.
But anyway, going forward, the marketing talking about
hip hop. Hold on a second. You're like roboting. Is anybody else hearing that too?
No, I was hearing it.
Okay. Yeah, I hear him roboting.
Okay, talk again, bro. Yeah, you. Yeah, like your connection.
Yeah, that's definitely you.
Hold on.
Yeah, just
hold on.
You sound like you Optimus Prime right now, my guy.
Yo, I guess maybe just dip out and come back if you can.
That's weird. That never
you're good. You're good now. Keep talking. You're good now.
You're check it out.
Damn it! You got it fucked up again.
It's a weird digital
issue
going on.
Yo, let me reload Discord. You want me to reload it?
Actually, you're good now. You're good now.
I'm good?
Yeah. All right, just keep talking. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy because I was on a show with Torrance yesterday and no problems happened.
Yeah, Discord is really like that. Anyway, go on, bro.
I don't like Discord. But anyway, so with the marketing conversation, this was one of those things that was like the killer for me. I was like, oh, shoot, like this is crazy. All the research, all the people that I spoke with, and then this particular conversation, I was like, yo, this is crazy. So when it came down to the marketing and stuff like that, the backwards compatibility was actually a part of the marketing, and it's all about being tied to PlayStation being this epic legacy that they want to talk about, that they want to highlight, and also it played a role in not allowing competition to have a leg up on anything and stuff like that. And I was like, this is very interesting because obviously one of the things that I mentioned in the video was Xbox and how they do backwards compatibility and how things is a bit similar from what I was hearing as well and the conversations that I had, because obviously Xbox came up in those conversations when we was talking. Yeah. Stuff like that. So I was like, yo, this is very, very interesting. And even with the Red Dead Redemption and how that looks in 4K, you know what I'm saying? That's, mind blowing. Like in all these other games, I was like, yo, this is crazy. So when I was having these conversations, the actual marketing that's going to be a part of PlayStation is supposed to also have like a legacy marketing. So I'll give you an example. Do you remember the commercial that came out where they showed a timeline of PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4? Yeah.
PlayStation 9. Remember that? You talking about that one? Remember
I ain't talking about that. No. Yeah, I ain't talking about that. Last year, there was a commercial that came out and it showed kids and what life was like in each era that the PlayStation that came out and stuff like that. And it's PlayStation 1. You remember who said they remember?
Yeah, Riku's on one. Yeah, I remember that. You remember the dude? He had the PS1. Right? He was in his room and all that stuff.
Yeah, he was in his room, and then it
transition to PS2. Yeah,
and a transition outside, and you see the date change and all that stuff, right? So that came up in conversation.
Okay,
and I was like, oh, word. So I was like, so how does this all correlate with the PS5? And it was like, well, PS5, it was built with backwards compatibility in mind. And they have a marketing campaign that's going to touch on the whole legacy of PlayStation, and PlayStation 5 will be like the first ever official like console that will allow you to experience all generations of PleStation in a new way. So and I was like, what?
That's crazy.
So hip hop, you're saying
the disc. You put the disc in and play it. And when you put the disc in and play it, there's features and settings that will allow you to make those things better. And the thing is, we already seen signs of it. I'll give you an example. Do you remember in PS2, when you played PS1 games, they had the option to smooth it out?
That's right. Yeah.
That's just a minor version of what I'm talking about today. These are the conversations that we had. Yes.
PSP and PS Vita.
I don't know.
No. Let me finish. The PSP, the PS Vita, and the PS3, the first version that could do backwards compatibility. All three of those had those options too. So yeah, Sony has definitely been, with their, at least with the devices that do have backwards compatibility, they do like to put those type of smoothing features in there. It's not just the one that you said, but I'm just adding to the ones that you have said. That's all.
Yeah, got you. So I don't know nothing about because that wasn't mentioned in a conversation. Yeah. Not to say that it's not going to be there or whatever, but it's. That'd
be sick too, though. Guess what, people? Part, that's not it. You can play your PSP games on here too.
But this has to be just for first party titles, because I can't imagine. The first thing, once you brought that up, the first thing I'm thinking was like, yo, I'm gonna bust out my Tony Hawk, which is not on PS4, and put that in. But we know that they have licensing issues because of the music.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. Glad you brought that up, because that's another thing that we spoke about. Because when it came down, matter of fact. That the first part of what you just said, that I spoke about that when I was at Packers Party too. I had mentioned the whole licensing thing as well, but after I mentioned that, I really didn't get any extra information too much after that. But in terms of the licensing thing, when you set it up, so you just put your disc in, that's it, because you already got the game. It's yours. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You have to, when you have it in the Netflix format, then you got to worry about that because of the format that is being born on. That's why Xbox just had to stop their program. You know what I'm saying? With the backwards compatibility, because it wasn't like full like backwards compatibility. There was still that element where you got to get the license, stuff like that, Xbox Game Pass, blah blah blah.
Yeah, like it's because you're essentially looking at whatever disc you got, and then it's downloading whatever game you have. It's all kind of a case basis, right?
Yeah, so the thing is,
the digital version of it.
Yeah, so the thing is, you see how the developers had to manually go in and make sure those games run, make sure those games work, and add things to them and stuff like that. So this now, what I'm about to say now, goes back to the patents and stuff like that. So now with the patents, if you look at like the patents and how they talk about how it says like, legacy mode, CPU, and it's like a spoofing ID to manipulate it to make you think that you're using whatever you're using so that it can actually work and go through the data process and all this other stuff. What it is, and this is very interesting to me based on all the information I was getting. So they have it set up to where on the actual chip or, legacy chip, however they want to call it, is when you put it in the disk, it can read like native mode, like just regular. They got that option and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have it set up to where there's an algorithm. This is where the whole remastering engine thing, when I said that, and I'm gonna tell you how that came about. So when you put it in, you get the opportunity to have these like custom features that you can turn on so that when you play a regular game, it'll look remastered. It's like that. Naturally, through an algorithm that they built, because the PS5 was also built with backwards compatibility in mind to do this. And this is like the next generation of what backwards compatibility is based on what we're used to seeing. And that's what I was trying to tell people. Like, you can't think about, well, PS3 had the cell processor and it's hard to develop for, so it's out. You can't think like that. And I'm going to tell you why you can't think like that. So I had an interview with my man Franco with AMD, and you could go to my YouTube channel and pull it up right now if you want to, anybody that's in the chat, or you could type in Hip Hop Gamer AMD interview or whatever, and you'll see we talked about AMD and what they can do. And the person I was talking to, he wasn't working on the PS5 chip, but he's an engineer for the AMD. Okay. Not a marketing guy. He's an engineer for the AMD. So he knows all the stuff that's going on, what it can and can't do, and all this other stuff. So obviously off camera, I had a few conversations with them. Like, for example, with all this ray tracing stuff that everybody's talking about with AMD, they've been told me about that years ago. Like, yo, bro, but I couldn't say nothing. And what you have to understand, is like certain things I can't say, even if I don't name a source, because I got somebody in trouble before because internally the company knew where I got it from. So now I got to be that much more careful and calculated when I do certain things, because I never even thought about that. I thought if you just didn't say nobody's name, it's no foul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this whole story was a lot. So So anyway, going back to what I was saying with the whole PS3 chip. So with AMD, they were showing me Far Cry 5, right? And they was running Far Cry 5, but there was no like GPU. There was like no AMD Radeon in there. It was just CPU they had in there, and they was able to run everything without the GPU being like a part of it. And I was like, yo, how y'all doing this? Like, this technology is crazy. So then the PlayStation Now, when I was telling you about how they did a chip, and they was able to run PlayStation Now and everything like that, I asked a question. This ain't Franco I'm talking to at the moment though, so like leave his name out of it. Like, it's not him that I'm talking to at the moment. But I talked to someone else that was there, and this was PAX. This was PAX East, I believe. So I had a conversation with them, and I was like, yo, I had two main questions. I was like, what is it, about y'all that Xbox and PlayStation work with y'all but don't want to work with, NVIDIA? Because remember, when PlayStation 3 was announced on stage and everything, Jensen came out from NVIDIA talking about all the graphics and everything. So people be forgetting. Y'all gotta go back and look. Like, y'all, you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand. That's it's research. Like, y'all gotta research everything, because so many things go over people's head. You gotta read between the lines. Context is everything. So what happened is when I was having a conversation with AMD, and we was talking about the whole NVIDIA thing and everything like that. One thing that they said, one thing that was told to me when I mentioned the whole PS3 and how could that work, because everybody keeps talking about that. They pretty much came out and said, of course it could work. Like, you can make anything happen. Technology changes every day. We got the technology to do like things that we couldn't do before, but we could do it now. So you can't think in a traditional way all the time just because something didn't work at a point in time.
Yeah.
Things change all the time, so you can't think of it that way. So that's when I was like, "Yo, this is interesting." And then the other thing that they said when I talked about can PS3, like run on like any like future machine that Sony do, or we just gonna, or is it just PlayStation Now forever? Like what's going on? And it was like, no, they could easily do it, especially with the technology that's out now. So I said, okay, they left for that. It still wasn't enough for me to jump there. Still wasn't enough, but that was a lot. So here, I'm gonna tell you two things right now that really changed the game. So when God of War 3 Remastered came out, and a lot of the other remastered games, not remakes.
Yeah, remaster. Yeah,
remasters game.
Yeah, Last
games.
of Us. That was another one. Yeah.
The business of remastered games started to slow up a lot. For example, you remember when Medieval recently came out too?
Yeah.
It ain't really make any impact or whatever. There's a remastered version and all that stuff, but it ain't really have an impact. I wasn't talking about that. But what's making an impact is remakes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is also medieval. Nobody really cares.
Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about medieval.
But you're not understanding the point.
Yeah.
But even with God of War 3, Remastered and a lot of these other games and stuff like that, it really didn't even look that much different at all. It was really no impact at all, bro. And people said,
because they're not in those games. They're just essentially making a port of the game to.
It was just a double dip for them. That's
just a double dip.
You want to play it on the console? Pay a little extra. There you go. You happy?
Exactly. So the point is, from a business standpoint, even on the back end and stuff like that, even if you listen to some of the calls, like because they got the calls documented. Where you could go and listen to like financial calls and see what people were saying, see what they're doing, and see who the journalists that's on those calls and the questions that they ask. All that stuff is public knowledge. Excuse me. So, with the whole remaster thing, that's another thing that is brought up in the video. How remakes is going to be the bigger investments, and they're making tons of money on the remakes, and the remakes is more targeted because they know who want remakes. Like they know that. It's more of a guarantee. It's a higher percentage of a guarantee that the remake that they make is going to be a hit.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2. That's a perfect example right there. You know,
Resident Evil 2, like all this stuff.
Yep.
So
even EA, when they came out and said that
Spyro,
this year 2020, they were going to start remaking a lot of their older IPs, and this is why making money.
Right. So now here's another thing that happened that within that particular conversation I was having, because even with the marketers. And some of the other business people that I had conversations with when it came to that subject of remastering, one of the big things, and it's so funny because even Jim Ryan in an interview 2 days ago, I believe, he was talking about that there's a lot of unique features and major things that hasn't been announced yet that's way bigger than what you already know. And one of the things is they was like, how can we do something where it's like when you play a game on PlayStation 5, you don't want to just play it and that's it. You want it to be better on PlayStation 5. No matter what you play, what generation you play it on, whatever, we want it to be significantly better when you experience it on PS5. And I was like, wow. So I was like, how does that work? So now, if you go back to the patent, I forgot which patent this was. I think this was the most recent one. But if you go back to the patent and stuff like that, there's an article that and when I said what I said on camera in terms of remastering engine, this is before I even seen what I'm about to tell you right now.
Okay.
So there's another article that mentions the remastering of the old generations through this particular patent, and it was branded as PlayStation Legacy. I was like, yo, hold up. You go look it up right now. There's 3 patents in total, I believe, and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, this is all not a coincidence. And then just for laughs, how did the Sony CES, how did that start?
Oh yeah, that's right.
How did that start? In terms of Jim Ryan hit the stage.
So they're talking about their past, right, or something like that.
Yeah, they're talking about the past. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the whole thing.
Now, let me tell you this.
Yo, I love the way you're setting this shit up, son. This shit is crazy right now, man.
Now, let me tell you this, right? Jim Ryan said, and this was, I think, in 2013, 14, maybe, something like that. But Jim Ryan has said, why would anybody want to play anything that looked like that when they was referring to?
That's right. I remember that. Games. I remember that. Yeah.
And then 2 years later, backwards compatibility is our main focus going into one of our main focuses going into PS5.
That's why I laugh when people are like, oh, well, I don't play any of my old stuff. And that's bullshit, because whenever they do a remake or a remaster or whatever, everyone's like, oh, I can't wait to get it. I was like,
I'm not finished.
You know you want this.
Yeah, let him finish. Let him finish.
So then the next thing is, here's the other thing that was like another killer for me that made me understand what was going on. Xbox sales boosted like crazy when people was able to play Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops and all these old games on Xbox, and it was crazy. Yo, mad people started playing all the old games, Jade Empire, all this other stuff on Xbox. It was going crazy, and that played a role in how successful their business was growing. Right?
Yeah.
So now with everything I just said, to break down what I was saying and stuff like that, I'm gonna go back to the final blow. When I was talking with my marketing people, stuff like that, we was talking about a lot of stuff. And when we and what like killed it was when I said, yo, good and well, if PlayStation 5 is the official system that allows you to play everything on it, but not only that, you can put the disc in and like back in the day, and it looked better. Like, it's over, right? It's over, right? So he was like, all right, bet, check this out. Let me tell you this. And that's when I got excited in my mind. I couldn't get too hyped in person. You know what I'm saying? And you know me, I get hyped anywhere I go. But the reason why I want to get too overhyped, because this is extremely confidential, but I still a journalist. So, like there's always that piece of a percent that if somebody says something, it's just like when people be leaking like pictures of death kits that they're not supposed to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be careful with these things.
Yo,
right?
It was one time, and you keep bringing the shit up. All right, let's just keep going forward.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Like, my man, you threw me off.
Yeah, Adam, that was crazy.
So the last thing is when he's like, I bet, I'm gonna tell you like this, right? Not only do they know that and stuff like that, but they already have like tests that they did this on. So when you saw the Spider-Man thing, that Spider-Man clip showing how games run faster and everything like that, that wasn't the only demo that they did that with.
Uh-oh.
They did that with other games of other generations, and I was like, hold up. And they was
man, they did that with Knack? Excuse me.
Another game.
So then I was like, yo, stop, man. He's like, yeah. So one of the big things that we're gonna do is we want PS5 to be all you need. In order to do that and support the people and stuff like that, we had to go this route. That's why it was built that way. So yes, you will be able to use like everything. This is going to be one of the biggest things that we're going to do. But not only that, and stuff like that. One of the things that people was talking about was, if they do that, then what's the purpose of PlayStation Now? And stuff like that.
That was my question.
If you don't own the game, right?
So my thing is it's all optional. It's just for example, right? If I'm a business, right, and let's say I own Sprite, let's say I own the Coca-Cola company, and I'm selling Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and Sprite. If you brought more Sprite than Pepsi, I don't care. Like, it's still all coming to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not cannibalizing Sony. Like, put like this. If, let's say somebody say, I don't want the PlayStation Now subscription, I'd rather just do it this way. Okay, well, all the games you got now, that's great. But there's games that you probably still gonna want that you don't got, that may be hard to get. Like, I don't know what their plans are, in terms of that part. But they may be hard to get, so you may wind up getting PlayStation Now anyway, or searching for the old game so you can use a disc. Whatever it is, it's all about option, variety, and stuff like that. So either way, it all goes.
Also, not to mention, like, Sony has a lot of those games already online.
Yeah. So now, hold up. I gotta tell you this too.
Go ahead.
I gotta tell you this too. You see how there's a section on the PlayStation Store, which is PS2 on PS4?
Yeah.
That's not by accident. Listen to me. It's not by accident. See how I can go to the store and get a PlayStation 4 game, or I can just download it?
Yeah.
Okay. The section specifically says PS2 on PS4. So if you want to play some PS as an option, if you can't get the disc or whatever it is, or you don't got whatever it is, get it here. Either way, you can play it, you can enjoy it as if you did have the disc, whatever. Because you got to keep in mind that we are in a digital world, and that's where everything is going anyway. But the point I'm trying to make, all of these things was not by accident, and the investment to make all these things happen was stemmed in 2012. And if I was able to tell you the actual people that I spoke to about this, the internet will break again.
This makes me wonder.
So,
shout out to Red for me, man.
Oh yeah.
Yo, what's going on, Red?
It's like
what's going on, girl? I haven't seen her in a while. Anyway, go on, bro.
So my thing is, what I want to tell you is, in terms of my sources and stuff like that, because I said this on a show yesterday with Torrance. Torrance was saying how like if this don't happen at the reveal, or if it don't happen at E3 or something, they're gonna have to put you in a bomb shelter because everybody's gonna get at you. So I said everything that like I do, especially over the years as I gotten better and stuff like that, I'm not gonna put myself out there unless I feel 100% comfortable. You know what I'm saying? With putting myself out there. So I trust the source. I trust all the stuff that I got. I'm putting it on my back, and we going. It's like that. And if somebody want to like bash me or whatever, if something don't come out exactly how I said it, I don't care. Like, it don't matter. I'm going all out for mine, because if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. And if you want to be great can't come without taking risks. I just feel 100% comfortable and perfectly fine with all the stuff that's happening now. And this is more directed towards Tony, because you're a journalist in the industry. The way this story blew up, good and well, if there was no truth to it, Sony would have put a stop to it immediately. Period. Think about that. Think about this. How many stories have we seen? We've seen it recently when they was talking about Sony using cartridges. and that blew up like crazy, and then that got nipped in the bud fast because it was really for a toy.
Yeah,
it was like for like a toy that's coming out in Japan, so they nipped it in the bud real fast. And to my knowledge, that came directly from Sony. So, and we've seen this in the past where certain things get blown out of proportion, and certain people would come out and say, "Nah, that's not true," and they debunk the rumor.
Yeah,
and so like that.
That's right. Yeah.
In this situation, listen, Hip Hop Wired covered this. Digital Trends, International. My name is in every Japanese outlet right now. Like, you don't understand, bro. This is like the biggest story of the year for 9 days straight. Like, yo.
So to summarize for anybody,
man, bigger than Iran.
Yo, you're bigger than Godzilla in Japan, son.
Wait. So just to summarize for people jumping in, what you're saying is that with the PS5, it will, like we've heard, play the PS1, PS2, PS3, but it will play other licenses, not just Sony exclusive titles. It'll play anything from those. All right.
Yes.
Well, another clarifying comment. So, like you're talking, it'll play all of those games. And I don't know if we talked about this yet, but also the discs that we own, like we all have like our old collections. You know,
yeah,
PS2,
I got some
PS1.
old stuff. I got a whole bunch of old PS3 games.
So you can get a PS3. I can get my Uncharted 2. Put that in the PS5.
Yeah.
And it'll whatever, download it or install it or whatever, and it'll play on the PS5.
I'm not sure how that process works. Whether you download it, I'm assuming install. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just assuming that. But but the thing is, the features built within PS5 is a system feature. So it's like, for example, if you want to use super sampling mode, you turn that on the system of the PlayStation. So when you run a game, it's on. You understand what I'm saying?
Like boost mode, yeah.
I think super sampling, it'll do it by default because the PS5 is going to be, I mean, if you're playing on a 4K TV and you're playing, I don't know, fucking Gran Turismo 1, it'll still super sample because it needs to upscale it to 4K or whatever the resolution of the TV is.
However, they do it. But what I'm saying is, yes. You know what I'm saying? So it's, bro, like, you don't understand. I've been like sitting on this story for so long because I didn't feel comfortable saying it because I was like really like everybody else. It's like, how they gonna do this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, you gotta think about it. You gotta think about it. Like, and people said this. Like, you gotta look at even other YouTubers that's making videos about this. People already said, right? Like, they said if PlayStation 5 really does this, where you could experience every generation on PS5 and you could just play it, and it's better and all this other stuff, then they won.
Oh, like, without a doubt.
No, I'm being honest. Like, people really are saying this. They was like, not only will I buy this day one, but they won. Like, Xbox could do whatever they want to do. That's fine, but there's no way. Like, think about this: Dark Cloud, Rise of the Kasai, all the old Bouncer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bouncer from, just think.
Well, I'm thinking also about what about the games that
there's over 13
developers.
Hold on. I want to highlight Hip Hop's point right here, right? Okay, because everybody was talking about how like great it is to play Xbox 360, and Xbox One games. That's great, right?
Yes.
But check this out, Hip Hop. You're gonna love this, right? So that's like what 19 years or so of games or so, right? PlayStation. 4 generations, 25 years of game. If this shit is true, everything you're saying right now, this is, like you said, instantly gonna be like the console generation. Everyone's buying shit, and to prove a point, Emilio right here, right? He never buys the system day one. He says he's buying his shit day one if it's backwards compatible like this.
You serious,
yeah,
Emilio?
Yep.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, let me talk. Any generation going back to because you don't got a lot of money back in the day, right? You wait till it goes down in price. I mean, to be honest, like if this new one it's got the backward compatibility, Yeah, I'll put away my old PlayStation 2 and my PlayStation 3 and my PlayStation 4 and slap down a PlayStation 5 right there.
Basically turning it into like a PC where it could play everything, but just in the PlayStation universe. Just play everything that ever came out on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That would be awesome and that would be amazing. And we know people would run out there. And this also opens up the doors for just certain publishers that had an old title that they know there's a digital version, but they're like, hey, maybe we can re-release this as a special edition. Charge whatever ridiculous amount.
If you look at the PlayStation Store right now, I mean, every single a lot of those PlayStation 1 games are all on there. They worked on the original on the PlayStation 3. They worked on the PlayStation Vita and PSP. So all that stuff is sitting out there, and so is all the library. Most of the library of the PlayStation 5 is just. Excuse me, not 5, but 3 is all sitting online. Now, if they're able to do this, that would mean they could literally just shut off all that old stuff and run you toward the new thing.
Well, what about the multiplayer for some of these games? Those are not.
Well, that would have to be probably a case by case basis. Like in other words, they would have to be like, okay, we're gonna, I
didn't get any information on those things.
Yeah,
I really didn't. So I'm not sure. And I will tell you this though, that I think is very interesting because there is a few things that I asked that they just refuse to not say anything about. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, you gonna give me all of this? So like that kind of like, but one thing that's like very interesting and stuff like that was, like, you see how the PlayStation 5 looks with the
dev kit,
the way the dev kit look,
yeah,
and like by design and stuff like that and everything like that. Like one thing that's very interesting that they was talking about is like the design of like a system is a dead giveaway of, you know, like what it could do, because if you look at how a PC is or how a PC chassis is built or whatever, they always talk about like, you know, the power or the cooling or these things play a role in performance.
Yeah.
See, you see how everybody was talking about how, you know, they was talking about the teraflops and everything. But one thing that's been consistent was that developers said that the PS5 is even easier to develop for than the PS4 was. And not only that, they're getting better performance at an easier rate because it's more efficient and stuff like that. So when I asked about, like, in terms of, like, you know, what games can be, like, what games can look like, you know, going forward and stuff like that, they were so reluctant to talk about the things that they're doing with their new, like, system, like what's in it, like what can be done. I think we're on the brink of the biggest generational leap in actual, like, graphics, gameplay, just what can be done in gaming, period. I think this will probably be the biggest generational jump that we've ever seen, because they were so tight-lipped on about what it can actually do. And I was like, it was just strange to me. But they was real serious. They was like, yo, the stuff that this machine is going to be able to do. And what I'm thinking of is PC has been growing a lot. It's like people been buying like PCs, laptops, everything. And things has been being a lot more cost effective than normal, even in the world of PC. But also the graphics barrier and everything has been closing a lot. Like if you look at Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox One X, comparison to the PC one looks better. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, it looks better.
Always does.
But the Xbox One X is not dramatically that far back, especially when you look at when you think of the price of, you know, what things cost.
Yeah. To be fair though, the PC version of Red Dead Redemption is not that well optimized at this point, you know, so you got to take that into consideration.
Is true too.
You know?
That is true. So I'm just saying is the fact that they was like real tight-lipped on that, it's just very interesting what AMD is doing in terms of how they customize the PlayStation. Because if you remember, Dr. Lisa, she did an interview on, I think, CNBC. No, she did an interview with my man, I think Joe Kramer, Fast Money, and stuff like that. And she was talking about this special sauce, you know, that they did with PlayStation and stuff like that. And I'm just, see, my thing is when I hear certain things and I tie it to the conversation that I had, in the fact, like I said, the fact that I put this out and nobody, like, Put like this, and I told Torrance this yesterday. Let's say Sony came out and said, no, this ain't happening, this ain't true. Then a lot of gamers would be like, well, why not? Like we want that. Why you not doing that? So now they under fire to explain. That's one. Then two, by them not saying nothing, it makes it hold even that much more truth, which relates to me saying 100%. You understand what I'm saying? But let me not say nothing and just let it be what it is. That's two. Three, really right now, and I know this for a fact, people inside Sony seen everything that's going on. And let's just say people happy.
Okay, yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, obviously, I'm gonna ask you something. You cannot answer this, obviously. You can't answer it, but I'm just gonna ask it anyway. Have you been getting hit up by anybody behind the scenes? I know you can't answer that, but that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Man.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Oh man,
serious? Can't answer that all.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I know you can't answer it, but I just had to throw it out there. By the way, I find it interesting that today Sony did come out and say, "Yo,
trying to make me lead the call."
You crazy, man. But that's a good point. Nobody considers like, yo, if this was fake, right? Sony would have shut that shit down with the quickness, but they haven't.
Well,
they haven't said anything. But at the same time, you know, sometimes they say that like them shutting it down is a confirmation that it's happening too. Gerard, you know what I'm talking about? That happens too. It's like,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it's kind of both of them at the same time.
I feel you on that too. But let me explain something to you. And for those that's like listening and watching that may be questionable about, you know, saying me or whatever. So like one of the biggest stories ever, right, was when I said, I got so many stories, and I'm gonna give you recent and old, so you can see a pattern. Because there's a lot of people that don't understand how the industry works. So let's go. When I said that Insomniac being on PS3 only is a thing of the past, I said this November 14th, 2009. Right? I said Insomniac being PS3 only is a thing of the past. Right? Then after that, May 25th, 2010, guess who becomes publisher for the next Insomniac game? EA.
Yeah, that's right. EA. Fuse came out of that. That's right. Yep.
Now, people try to get at me like, now think about it. I got, it's November, December, January, February, March, April, May. For 6 months, people was like, who the F is you? Like, who the blah, blah, blah. And then look. So let me bring this up to you. When I told people that Bungie is not going to be with Xbox only forever and stuff like that, they move into, you know, imagine a Bungie game on PS3 and all this other stuff. What happens?
Yeah, Destiny.
Okay. I need these stories. Second, right? Third thing, right? I'm gonna say this, and this is more recent. I had SNK on the show. He was playing Samurai Showdown. I asked them about Samurai Showdown. What would they want to go against? They said Soul Calibur. We would love to do that. What happens months later? Who's in Soul Calibur now?
Oh shit! Who's that?
Amaru.
Oh
Amaru
shit!
From Samurai Showdown.
Nice.
It's in Soul Calibur now, right? Boom. So now Nintendo Switch. You go to comicbook.com right now because the DCD Robert covered this story. Mm-hmm. At first, he cited somebody that had a lot of information before the Switch was announced and stuff like that. And then I said, yo, Robert, I broke this story way before that dude, because he broke it in 2004. He broke it in 2015. I broke this, I think, May 23rd, 2014, about the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, like, I think I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And then when he put it out, he updated the article. I was there before it. That was all me with the Nintendo Switch. And then not only that, Robert had made mention that the other dude had a bit more information. Of course, he had more information. It was later. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what the? That ain't made no sense. But that was that. So that's just to name a few out of many. But the point is, what I'm saying is, some of the big PlayStation All-Stars. That was me and stuff like that. I broke that before anybody. Period. Like, look this stuff up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Remember, I was the king of info. You know what I'm saying? I had all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is like, matter of fact, you see all these remasters? Who was the person that set the tone for the entire industry going in that direction? Me. Wanna know why? Halo 1 HD remake, September 2009. Joystick.com confirms what I said back in September 2009. And that was the biggest remaster that led to all these other AAA titles getting remasters too. Devil May Cry collection, Metal Gear, so on and so forth. And that's ran its course. That's why remakes is now and remastering engine, everything ties into everything. That's why I feel 100%.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm glad you broke all this down. By the way, people in the chat right now are loving what you're saying, man. They're giving you a lot of props right now, man. So give them some love back, man.
Oh, word. Yo, much love to the chat. I appreciate y'all. One love and God bless. It's very humbling. And, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate it. Now, listen.
Yeah.
Like, there's been times where I said stuff and I was wrong. If I'm wrong about something, I'm wrong. Like, I don't care about, like, that part. I care about always putting in the work, doing your best, and laying it all on the line. That's what I care about, because that's what you're about the culture.
That's what that's one thing I did say on our stream before. I was like, there definitely hip hop also put that as like, also put it on the line where it's like, you put out this solid statement saying, but also fully being aware if there is something that if it does end up being wrong, you are willing to deal with the repercussions, whatever comes with that as well.
Yes, of course. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it's supposed. If you're a real journalist, you know what I'm saying, and you're an insider and you got sources or whatever, like, anybody could be an insider from a Twitter account and you ain't got no face, because now you can't really be held accountable. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my thing is, my love and respect for the culture and the industry and the way I fight for it and the way I put things out, it's like, yo, are we in this or not? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anybody in the industry, period, to tell you, you have everybody else, then you got hip hop gamer. There's a clear-cut difference between me and everybody else. And I'm not saying that like I'm better than you or better. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm the best at what I do because I genuinely care that much. That's why I'm willing to put it on the line. So, and my thing is, like, for example, Kratos in Mortal Kombat. That was me. And then even Ed Boon, when I was on red carpet at the VGAs, was like, yeah, you called it. Like, gave me my props. Like, you know what I'm saying? On camera. Like, this is not new. It's not new to me breaking a story. Like, you know what I mean? And when I break a story, I try my best to break the biggest stories because that's how you be remembered. Think about it. I came in the industry in 2008 and people still to this day, like, know me, talk about me and everything. Like, love the energy, all of that.
Or at least you remember seeing you with the belt.
Yeah, with the belt. With the belt and now the chain. You know what I'm saying? I got the chain too, baby. We lit. You know what I mean? but yeah, think about it. Think about this. Think about this. I was the first black journalist inside PlayStation Home.
That's right, yeah. I remember that. You were walking around and shit.
They had the belt walking around
with the belt, yeah.
In PlayStation Home.
Up on the big screen in the PlayStation Home. I remember walking in there. There's a hip hop up there.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's easy for people to forget, but I'm just letting you know, you can't. One thing about marketing is that it's all geared to be subliminal. So when you look at Jim Ryan come on stage and the first thing you see is PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not the only time. That's one. When you look at the commercial that somebody put in the chat and stuff like that, why are you even talking about all these memories? Why does it even matter if you're not going to do nothing about it fully? Because you got to think about it. And then when you look at PlayStation now, they got remote play. Oh, also, if you look at the fine print of PlayStation now, when they talk about being able to download certain games, even on PC, it says that you can't download them on PC yet or something like that.
Yes.
It's fine print.
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
It's set. I'm telling you,
yo,
like
that's
these
crazy.
things aren't mistakes. Like everything is. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure that they will utilize PlayStation Now in a bigger and better way going forward. It's not going to stay the same exactly the way it is now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made everything downloadable going forward in the next generation with PlayStation Now, so that in case you don't get a chance to get the disc, you can still download the game and play it if you don't got the disc or can't get the disc or however they decide to do it. My thing is, like I said before, the PlayStation Now style with the licensing, you gotta be careful of from a business standpoint. But if you got the disc, boom. But then what happens there if you got the disc? That's a whole nother business model. Why you think the SNES came out, the Genesis came out, the PlayStation Classic came out? Those days are not done by accident. Everything that you see any company come out with, R&D or like everything has been put together before any investment is made. They don't guess. This is not guessworking companies. They make sure they target what they need to target. So when they make a bet or they take a chance, the percentage is high that there's something in return that's going to come back, so they feel comfortable about investing.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? Like, this is what I be trying to tell people. Like, you can't, if you're not a business person or never ran a business or never had to go into the world of entrepreneurship or study anything, and you're just speaking solely from a consumer standpoint because of what you want, then you're a kid in this space. You're not mature yet to understand the things that go on. Like, you know what I'm saying? And things are thought out like 10, 15 years in advance. Like, for example, PlayStation VR came out, 3 years ago? 2017?
Yeah, 2017, yeah.
Do you know that Shuhei Yoshida was playing PlayStation VR in 2010?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it's in there. It's in a lot of that. A lot of that stuff is a lot. It was all in their development department. I mean, from like they said that a lot of the move equipment that was all repurposed from stuff that they had been working on for years inside of their labs.
Yeah, and you got to understand something with patents. Not all patents go through, but a lot of them do go through. But you have to, put these patents together to protect yourself for what you actually choose to go through with. It takes a lot. Think about it. Why is it that I think, if I'm not mistaken, in 2014, the first backwards compatibility patent geared for PlayStation 5 was made?
Yeah.
A year after PS4 was out. Come on, man. It's like, these are the conversations that a lot of journalists that you see on other like outlets and platforms, they don't break it down like this. I don't know why, but they don't. And I think I know why. See, I've always been independent. I never worked for a company. I always worked, like I was always independent. I always worked for myself when it came to the gaming industry. And now, thank God I'm able to fully be, working for myself, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a day job. So the point I'm trying to say is I've always been me. I never had to, listen to what IGN boss had to tell me or listen to what, like Kotaku's senior editor would tell me or tell me to change something. Like, nah, I never had to do that, ever. So it's different with me.
Steven Totillo ain't telling you what to do, right?
Come on, baby. Really? Like, y'all know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man. That's crazy, man.
But
yeah, no.
So I hope people got a chance to really dissect and understand more about the industry overall and the things that happen. And if you don't know me, you got a chance to know me more. And I'm just trying to do my best out here because, like I said, man, my grandmother taught me how to play games. Like it means something different to me when it comes to the game industry and the culture and everything. It's deeper than just the game. It really changed and saved my life. Between video games and church, it really shaped my life. So, I'm thankful, man. And I just can't wait for the PS5 to be revealed. I can't wait for E3, and I just can't wait for all of this, man. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, man. All right. So, in hip hop, this is the last thing I want to ask you, right? Because remember when PS4 was announced, right? That was in February 2013, right? Do you think the same thing's gonna happen this February? Because I think it is. I think they announced the PS5 at their own show in February. I think that's definitely gonna happen. What do you think?
Well, obviously, I don't know what I say. I believe it will happen in February as well. Not because they did it before in February, because that's like an easy guess. They did it before, they do it again. Nah. The reason why I think that they'll do it in February is because in February, they have, if I'm not mistaken, I remember, I think there's a certain game coming out in either February or March. Because my thought process on this was based off the release of Final Fantasy 7 HD remake and some other stuff. The reason why is because January 13th, I should actually have the official reveal date.
Okay.
Like, I should actually know by January 13th. By January 13th, I should actually know. Yeah. But until that day, just for the sake of the show, there's the attention that this is going to get. They don't want it to. They want to make sure that the momentum and the flow of what this reveal does generate even more energy. The games that they're going to sell this year, and stuff like that. So
okay.
And just to add something to you, I'm not sure if y'all seen the Marvel's Avengers interview that I did.
No, I didn't get to catch that. Yeah.
Okay, so I did it. I did an interview with Crystal Dynamics for Marvel's Avengers game that's coming out, right? And we spoke about the PlayStation 5 and everything and what you'll be able to do on it and like that, right? And they deferred. They didn't say no, because I told them I didn't say is it coming to PS5. I said, what does the PS5 got that will make Marvel's Avengers better when y'all release it?
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How I flipped the question? Yeah. So he never said no, but what he said was any technology that comes out, we're going to make and stuff like that. Like that's the way he said it. So that gave me the right to set the narrative since they didn't. I could set the narrative. I'm not lying. So I did that. When I did that, I was hit up and they was like, yo, you can't say that. Like I need you to change the title, please. This and that. I'm like, oh, cool, no problem. I changed the title. But the reason why they wanted me to change it is because game is coming to PS5, but why get it now on PS4 if the PS5 version is going to be significantly, better when you run that same game on PS5, it's going to be significantly better. So I'm gonna just wait instead of getting it now. But they need people to get it now because that's business.
Yeah, they don't want to undercut their sales.
Situation.
Because people are just wait. So they didn't want to do this. Had to change that.
Can we be real though? Like, come on, that game's coming to PS5, bro. Like, of course, why are they even trying to hide that? Of course it is.
Yeah, of course. But the thing is, you can't do that. Like, you can't just say that because people will wait, which will disrupt what you're trying to do.
Oh no. Yeah, obviously, like business wise, you can't say that. But it's like as a gamer, it's like a new Call of Duty's coming out this year. Shit like that.
But also business wise, business wise, you can't say no to like opportunities. It's like let's say you ask I don't know, fucking who's the head of like Phil Spencer's like, yo, you think you guys can buy out? Yeah, you think you can buy out Bungie? Get them back? He's not gonna say no.
Yeah, I know. But
you know what? But you gotta. But see, this is going by it anyway. They don't like to wait.
Yeah, that's true too. But for me, the reason why I do that is because, like, all right. So one of the things that I do. So when in 2008, when I officially became a journalist, a few years later, I started watching a lot of like cop shows and detective shows a lot more. Like I love Law and Order. I love New York Undercover, all these like shows and stuff like that. But I started watching.
They're bringing that back. They're bringing that back.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yo, that's crazy. So, but I watch those shows with a closer eye. The reason why I watch those shows with a closer eye now, because in journalism, you have to be able to read body language just like how somebody would talk to you. And over the years, I really studied. And I interview a lot of the same people, and I interview a lot of new people, and I study body language. And when I tell you certain things is a dead giveaway, and I understand, I already know what's happening before it's happening. And that's another reason why I'm right a lot, because it's a dead giveaway in terms of body language. Perfect example, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right? You start the game out as Leonidas. When they flew us out to do coverage on the game before the game released and stuff like that, one of the interviews that I did, I asked him, because I'm a big fan of 300. So I asked him, like, will we get a chance to play as King Leonidas? And before he could even answer it, he smiled so hard. It was like I can't say nothing, but like, just, you gotta play the game. You gotta play the game. So he didn't say it, but he said it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, and that's another thing, even in the behind the scenes conversations, when we was talking about what we was talking about with the backwards compatibility, man, so many dead I ain't have to have a dead giveaway after a while. Like, they just came out and said it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So I'm ready.
That's what's up, man. Anyway, do we need to let you go? Because I know you're busy and all that. You know, you gave us a great. As a matter of fact, we've been at this for an hour and a half almost. I'm gonna just cut this part and make it like a special section. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit is crazy. Man. But anyway, before we let you go, man, again, obviously, thank you for being on. Really, like, your video is 15 minutes. This was an hour and a half. You explained this shit, so you went deep. So anyway, thank you for that, man. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Yo, Hip Hop Gamer, just go to Google. Like, type in Hip Hop Gamer. I'm everywhere. God bless, and I love y'all. Happy New Year.
Up, man. I'll be seeing you at convention soon, brother. Get ready for that, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And am I seeing you later this month?
In San Francisco. Yes, sir. You already know, man.
That's secret talk. What you talking about? No,
we can't say why we're going out there, but we'll be out there.
Yeah, you can't say that. Yeah,
you're having a good trip. It's good. We know that.
Yeah, having a good trip.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. Man.
All right, dog.
All right, peace out.
I'm gonna talk to y'all. All right, peace.
Thanks, Hip Hop.
All right, we've been getting yelled at by Reggie in the comments section this entire time. Chris, he wants to know your take on PS5 having full backwards compatibility. Specifically, your take.
Me? What? Okay.
He's been yelling. Chris was here. What's up, Chris? Oh, yeah.
He was there. He's been there from the beginning.
Dude, I did the intro, man.
Reggie's been yelling at me the entire show, bro. So
yo.
Like he's like, listen. Can we get Chris on? Oh, go ahead.
Just one before Chris starts. I would have to say it was. I'm so happy that we got to get a little bit more of an insight into how hip hop came to this conclusion. It's like, just the different parts of it, and again, I even said this on our little stream. Like he's definitely sure. Like he's willing to deal with the repercussions of whatever he says. So if he's wrong, he's just like, all right, I was wrong.
Yeah, say what you will about the man, but he's
putting down, as opposed to putting out a light statement like, take this with a grain of salt, as opposed to, no, this is happening, and if I'm wrong, then that's it.
I think it really just comes down to licensing. That's it. So do they want to do this? Yes, probably. I could see that. It's all plausible, but it just comes down to licensing. Can they get it? Like, again, I bring up Tony Hawk because that's dead. The company's gone. They don't have the rights. That would be huge if you could just put a disc in and play it.
I think the idea is like, if you're the way he kind of sort of made it sound was like, if you did, it has the ability to play whatever it's going to toss inside of it, but I think for specific, like if you want to get Tony Hawk like off of the PlayStation Store, you won't be able to do that unless they make some deal for that.
I mean, that's for me. That's the hardest like jump to make. I'm gonna get.
Put a 20-year-old disc inside of the thing and see if it works.
That's the hard part for me. Go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, what I think is going to happen, I could be wrong. I'm just, just throwing it out there because I'm just basing it off what Xbox is doing. I think what's going to happen is you put your disc in, and it'll just download the game to your hard drive. I don't think it's going to play it right off this.
That's
that's fine.
Yeah, they can't do that for every game. That's
the thing is that like the crazy thing is that a lot of the PlayStation library is already sitting.
It is
exactly.
But that's the PlayStation. We're talking about
no. We're talking about PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. They're already there. They're already there.
Yeah.
You can download that stuff.
They're already there.
Have the proper console.
Yep.
And one thing that we should have mentioned right off the bat is that PS4 it's a given.
Oh, we already know x86 architecture. It's good to go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the given. The wild card is PS3.
That's you know. So yeah, Chris, go ahead, man. What do you make of all this? And specifically, how do you get the PS3 to run? Because remember, the cell processor. That's the thing that's keeping even the emulator guys from making these games and shit. Anyway, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. That's the incredibly difficult part to do. Like they can do things like leverage Gaikai and whatever, but that's the only way I see it working. You can't bake even a newer cell. IBM is out of the chip business, so you can't get a new cell processor. Even if you had someone else make it, if you had, I don't know what kind of legal problems they would run into. Like AMD tried to reverse engineer the cell, which I don't think they can do legally. But if you try to, it's like, okay, we can shrink it down. We can refab it, make it better and cooler, and you could bake it into the system. I wouldn't see them doing that because it would take so much R&D and so much money to do that the ROI on it would be terrible. So they're not going to do that. If they were to try to have PS3 out of all of them, that would be where they would leverage PS Now to do it. I don't see any other way to get that working. You'd have to stream it off of there.
They'd have to, and Chris, like just to mention, they'd have to remaster the games like they did.
Yeah, they have to, but that would be on the server side, and maybe that's why they made the decision to go with Microsoft Azure. Mm-hmm. To get that to get more robust infrastructure going, and then they go about remastering the titles, and then you stream them when you want to play PS3. Now, PS2 and PS1, that's super easy to emulate.
Oh yeah,
they have no problem doing that. So that you have that compatibility going, and PS4 it will be practically native, so they don't need to worry about that. It's PS3 is the wild card, and the only way I feasibly see them doing it is to use PS Now to give you those games. You pop in the disc, it goes, oh, okay, we got that, and then streams it to you.
Yeah.
And then you just load your saves on there or something.
Yeah, what's going on, Brett?
Man, I was trying to sneak in the side door all sly-like.
Nah, I saw you, man. You can't hide from me, motherfucker. I got the eye of Sauron, motherfucker.
We heard that door, Brett's like...
Yeah. Behind you, Anyway, you guys want to keep going for another hour, man? What's up?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
We can't. Is Reggie happy with that?
Yeah, Reggie. No, he seems pretty happy. Yeah, that's good, man. All right, so let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, Robert Workman? Robert, we could actually sneak you in here if you want, man. Let me know.
Yeah, man, if you want to jump in,
Yeah, then I won't be the last one in.
Yeah,
Robert, let me know, man. I'll bring you into the show, man. Actually, hold on a second. Oh wait!
I mean, we still have a full slate of things we still haven't talked about.
We didn't talk about that.
Anyway, so we were talking about PS5 backwards compatibility. This lead into the news that came out this week, which is Sony was going to have their did have their press conference over. Let me put myself on the fucking camera. So they had their press conference at CES, right? And they said the vision of the future, some bullshit, right? People got hyped the fuck up. They were like, "Oh shit, this is it! They're going to show the PlayStation 5," and Sony didn't debunk any of that. They're like, maybe we'll have the PS5, maybe we won't. Who knows? Just show up and see what happens, right? So they had the show, and literally all they showed was a fucking logo. That's it. It was like, what was the logo? It was the PS4 logo, just with a 5 at the end. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's this hilarious video. There's this hilarious video of like a guy like Sony's design, PlayStation's design team, and they just like had a PlayStation 4. They deleted the 4 and then put a 5 there, and then the whole world exploded.
Shit! How about how much they're probably paying that advertising team to do that? It was like, all right, we got the great idea. We spent a lot of time, our best guys on this.
That's the best job, man.
The thing about it is that one thing about like the simplicity of naming something, officially naming something PlayStation 5, or just specifically using like pretty much an ancient logo from PlayStation 3, because I mean that's literally the PlayStation 3 logo, you know, the PS3 logo when they did that.
Before that Spider-Man one they were using.
No, it was after the Spider-Man logo.
Yeah.
So after the Spider-Man one, that's what I missed.
Yeah, Riku, because we haven't heard you in a while for obvious reasons. What do you think of the reveal, man?
The reveal,
the PS5 logo.
Yeah, man, the hottest logo ever, son.
Man, I was pissing my pants, man. I was bouncing up and down, man. It looks exactly how I wanted it to look, man. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. You know, we understand they want to keep it consistent, traditional, and all that stuff. So, it is what it is. You know.
Yeah, my thing is, you know, and you guys saw me on Twitter. I was telling motherfuckers beforehand. I'm like, don't get hyped, guys. They've never revealed a PlayStation system at CES. Maybe they've had it behind the scenes at CES, but you've never had a reveal. Do not get hyped up. Why would Sony reveal this thing at CES when they have their own show? And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. You know,
Tony,
what up, bro?
But you know, the director of God of War 2018 was there.
Oh,
Corey Barlog.
Corey Barlog was there.
Yeah.
They had to announce the PS5.
Yeah, no, it was Vegas, man. He wanted to drink, you know.
Yeah, he was there to pimp his ride because who knew Sony would roll out a car?
Yeah, the pony
well, they have a whole car section over there.
Yo, I was like, what the fuck?
They call it the pony wagon.
Yeah, it's a pony wagon. So yeah, literally all we got from that was the PlayStation 5 logo and, you know, actually, and a bunch of stats too. Actually, let's go run down some of these. Brad, I'm just going to go to your favorite stat. PlayStation VR has sold 5 million units worldwide, man.
Woo! Go PSVR.
Crazy, man. So what's your take on that, man?
I mean, I think they took I don't think I want to say that they took a chance, because there had been some showing that the idea was good and they were just kind of waiting for mass market appeal. But I mean, to a certain extent, they took a chance and it paid off. It's been one of their more successful peripherals, and I think the fact that they're pulling it into a new a new version of it into the PlayStation 5 shows that they're committing more. It's been a long, slow ride, so it's very difficult to say the I told you so. But the cold hard truth of it is this is exactly how we've been saying it's going to happen for years. It's not an immediate thing, but it's been actually in terms of gaming, it's been a fairly quick and successful adaptation to something this new and foreign. So, I'd say it's doing gangbusters. And Sony obviously agrees with me because they think that it's selling surprisingly well. It passed all of their expectations. So,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's selling gangbusters, but it's selling.
Yeah. For what they're expecting and for what it is, I absolutely think it is. I mean, it is unpolished technology. It is still somewhat niche. It is not ready for mass adoption or mass consumption yet. It's still essentially a testbed. I would still probably call this, in the grand scheme of things, the alpha stage of, or the alpha phase of VR. They're still working out the kinks.
I think in general it was just them making that's dipping their toe into it, making sure that it's not, they got rid of any sort of development on any other previous consoles like the Vita or anything like that, and this was just like, okay, we have this space, if we can get this to be around the same amount to produce, we can do this. I don't think PlayStation VRs are incredibly, insane to make. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're incredibly expensive to make, and I think that's why they decided to jump into it. It's like, okay, if it didn't do that well, that's fine. We didn't spend any more. I suspect they didn't spend any more money than they did on a PlayStation Vita.
Oh no, and that's been the big thing, and maybe that's why my opinion is definitely biased, because I've been watching the technology try and become financially available. Like they've been trying to use things from cell phone parts and trying to make pieces more accessible and more price accessible. It's been a long, slow battle to get to the point where the price point matches the experience, and they finally handled, like, I didn't realize, I guess, as I knew some of it, but man, like, supply chain management really has a lot to do with, you know, how these things get released and if they get released. Because the technology was there, it was still being worked out in terms of programming, but like everything was there, it was just obscenely expensive, and so it couldn't take off. That's why you saw all these VR companies kind of fighting to try and take the crown spot of affordability versus functionality. And we're seeing the end results of that war. You know, everybody kind of went back to their hole, said we're going to come out with something new. Oculus has fairly recently come out with a new model, and this is going to be PlayStation's next big response. And this is where I finally put my money down, and I say, this is what I've been saying. The second, release, the second commercial release is going to be the one that has all, should be what we consider the first true VR headset. So if this version flops, then it's time for me to eat my crow, because we're right along the roadmap of where I thought that we should be. This next one should be the one that gets some public appeal. So
you think that this is going to be the advanced model? This is going to be the version that doesn't need to use the a light bar on the front of the thing. This is going to be the version that's wireless. It's going to be wireless.
It'll probably
all that stuff.
It'll probably still have to have sensors like a light bar or the little lighthouse sensors or something that you set up. I mean, that's part of VR, is just mapping the space.
Well,
part of that is so that you don't wander out of it in games. But
I mean, the new Oculus, like, that thing does not need anything.
Does it not use any of the?
It doesn't use any sort of lights or anything.
That's pretty badass.
What it actually does is it has a camera on the front of it, which essentially throws motion capture markers on every single edge, and that's how it tracks everything.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, I am super excited to see what the actual stats on this thing are. But yes, I think that's. I don't know if they'll be able to get as good as the Oculus. I'm just going to be straight up honest. I think the Oculus may be a better product, and we'll end up having the discussion about Oculus being a better product, but PSVR being a better service. And so it's easier to set up. It's cheaper to buy. There's less technical things. It's just plug and play. And because of that, I think the PSVR 2 or whatever the fuck it's going to be called will probably surpass the Oculus Rift in terms of sales numbers pretty easily.
Well, it already did. the regular PlayStation VR already outsold Oculus and Vive combined. Okay, I want to put this graphic up for you guys. So check this out. Okay, we already talked about the 5 million PSVR systems. So PlayStation 4 has sold 106 million units worldwide, right? 1.15 billion games have been sold. Apparently, it's about to cross the amount of games that PlayStation 2 sold. So think about it like this, right? PlayStation 2 has sold, correct me if I'm wrong, around 140 million consoles, but PS4 is going to sell more games, right? But you also have to take into account digital and all that other shit, right? 103 million active monthly users, which is pretty crazy since there's 106 million PlayStation 4s out there. See, I was thinking like, okay, are those 103, are they counting PS3 guys and Vita guys? But no, they said PS4 specifically. That's pretty fucking impressive.
Every single one of those.
The attach rate is kind of low, though. I could have swore. I thought
how's the attach rate low? That's 11 games per person.
No. The attach rate, and we'll get to that in a bit. The attach rate is 10%, which is said is historically high.
Yeah, but this is actually larger. It's almost 11% here.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah.
Graphic.
I feel like it should be higher just because of how long it's been around and how successful. We've seen some major titles come out, exclusive titles.
No, the Wii, even though it sold well, had a horrible attach rate because people just played like Wii Sports or Wii Fit, and that's it. But this is I don't think even PS2 had a rate like this.
Yeah, you have to consider all the Fortniters and all the Call of Duty players, all the people who are essentially exclusive to just about one game. Even over the course of a decade, if you've played nothing but Call of Duty, you're going to buy 10 games.
Also, I want to point out that Tony and I called that one. I said it was going to beat the Wii, and I think you agreed with me.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Back early on when I showed the first year trajectory and sales of PS4, I had said that it will. I think it will beat the Wii. It won't. I mean, I was like, pie in the sky won't beat PS2. PS2 is like untouchable, I think.
Yeah, that's not touching it. That's not touching it.
But I said it was going to take Dewey's spot, probably be second highest, and I think it is, according to these numbers.
Also, with the PS2 numbers, it's 155 million.
Damn.
Yeah, the PS2 is a beast. Like,
Okay, so you're not catching that.
Hey, there's Robert.
What's up, Robert?
Hey, Robert, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, man.
Nice scare off hip hop gamer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I told Robert, it's like, oh, we got hip hop. It's gonna be hard for me to control the show. He left. I'm like, hey, get Robert on now. You know?
I missed hip hop.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you missed hip hop, man. You missed hip hop.
How much clamoring was he doing for the PS5? Dare I ask?
Well, we were just talking about the backwards compatibility. His claim.
Where's the source?
Yeah,
where's the source?
He is the source, my friend. He is the source.
That's what.
Yeah, but who told him?
Well, he can't disclose those people.
An event. He went to an event.
The thing is that he from what I gather from what he said, it's from a bunch of different things that he essentially put together and said, okay, and made this solid statement. So there's there's statements that push very close to what he's talking about, that he said that certain people said that he can't mention, as well as certain things that he's seen, certain patterns that he's seen. So
I feel like there's a word for that though. And I believe it's conjecture.
Well, some of it is conjecture. He admitted himself.
I think he's aware that it is conjecture, but he's still putting down a solid statement, and
he feels comfortable enough.
And he's okay. So he's the one translating.
Yeah, he is. But I don't want to go over that again. We did that for like an hour and a half. Anyway, Robert.
I just want to.
Can I just give my 2 cents real quick?
Yeah. You get 1.5.
Yeah. Okay, 1.5. I got it. So. We know Xbox Series X and what its backward compatibility is. It's all the games that have already come out. We aren't going to get access to like Blur or 50 Cent Blood on the Sand or anything. PS5 is a wait and see matter. We know the PS4 is probably going to be it because, people love their PS4 games, but the rest up in the air. But we do know like the PS2 games that were out for PS4 will probably be compatible. And really, I don't see them making PS3 and PS1. That'd be like digging into the guts of the system and making sure everything's implemented. And, okay, do we going to have stuff with the powerful components too? So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, but Robert, what's your take on the PS5 quote-unquote reveal at CES? What's your whole take on that? I want the full cent on that one, not half a cent.
Okay. We knew they weren't going to reveal the full system. They're waiting for an event in February to do that. But I was like, oh, they're going to show us a little something. And they did. They showed us the logo. They, the yay logo. Hey, let's have fun with that, because you knew they weren't going to. CES is not a show about video games anymore. Although we did get some pretty good video game news out of that this week. It's not a show about video games anymore. It's a show about electronics, and they were just like, "Here's what we have on deck. Boom, PS5. We'll show it later." It wasn't like we were going to get a big CES reveal, and all of a sudden, like I don't know, they were going to get the Guerrilla Games back on Killzone again. Come on, at CES. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, no. That's what I was trying to tell people, but they were hyped like, no, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, come on, guys. Calm down, man.
Those days are long
It's going to happen in February, just like they did with the PlayStation 4. They're going to do a quick reveal, and then they're going to do probably a full thing right before E3. I don't even think they're going to E3 again, because I wouldn't go.
It's a poor choice, though.
No, I from what I heard, they are going to return to E3. That's what I heard. I could be wrong, but my sources tell me that.
Yeah, did you just have to conjecture talking there?
No, actually, it isn't. That's I can't talk anymore, but I do have.
I know.
Remember, hip hop isn't the only one with sources around here.
I'll tell you, if anything's going to be back to E3, it'd be Sony's return.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm already packing, man. I'm already packing. Anybody else want to say anything about the PS5 logo? It's not really much as a fucking logo.
Yeah, it's just a logo. It's it just in case you forgot that it's coming.
Yeah,
there we go.
5.
It's 5.
Honestly, I thought the whole thing was a big waste of time. It's like they the whole little diagram they gave with the the SSD and the whatever we've seen that before, and it's like they just they did a little victory lap and revealed the logo, and that's it.
It's funny because it actually that presentation reminded me of a PlayStation 3 presentation from years ago, where essentially they'll roll out the numbers and then they'll put out a couple of little things here and there. They'll show you a thing that they showed you before, and then And then they roll Cory Barlog out with his car, you know.
Well, here's the thing: the showcase wasn't for us. It's a consumer electronics show. I mean,
exactly.
We just happen to be consumers, anyways.
Yeah. Well, we already know better. We already know what's going in the system, and
but we also gamers, baby.
You know,
it's more of an industry stroll than E3 has become. You know. And that's why they'll just it's going to be a little bit dry, you know. Because
they could have unveiled it here. They obviously it's all strategic, you know. They want the spotlight to themselves. CES is a huge show that has a lot of things that people are unveiling, a lot of new technologies that people are creating.
Hell, I mean, they don't even know how to market things there. They brought in Ivanka Trump to do a keynote. I mean, what more do you need to say about CES?
Yeah, they have so much shit going on, and it's like Sony's not gonna unveil their next big thing at a consumer electronics expo where a lot of people are there's so many eyes looking on so many other things. They want something just fixated on PlayStation. That's going to be their own event.
Yeah. Besides, you can't steal the thunder from NBA Jam. You just can't.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Any other thoughts on PlayStation and all that before we move on?
Nah.
All right, so
we're gonna PlayStation move on. Oh,
all right.
We should PlayStation now.
Yes.
Move on, PlayStation now. Never mind.
Anyway, so the next thing I want to talk about, this one's just kind of funny, right? So during AMD's press conference, they showed the back of the Xbox Series X, right? Turned out that the image they showed was a fan created 3D render
from Turbo Squid, not just a fan created, but from Turbo Squid.
Oh man,
it's amazing that they don't confirm this, but they do just a Google search and one back of Xbox, you know, on Google and just all right, we're using this.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they did, but apparently, Windows Central, they did come out and actually show the back of the Xbox One X, and it looks pretty standard, you know, HDMI, all that other shit. No Connect port though. I'll tell you that.
Man, what? Man, I can't use my Connect on this thing. What's wrong with? I'm out.
Yeah, but so anyway, I just thought that up because I was funny. I'm like, AMD, what are you doing, guys? Come on, you know.
Have they? Here's the interesting thing. Have they totally just cut cameras on it? Like, are they just?
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, the Xbox One. I mean, they use webcams. You know, like the Logitech webcams for streaming. So more than likely, those will still be compatible.
Oh, so they're not. They're just totally given up making their own proprietary cameras and just saying, okay, you can just use whatever camera we got here.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, by the way, I do want to quickly stop the show real quick just to give Robert a quick shout out for having 3 of us on the ARG podcast yesterday, man. Or tomorrow or today, whatever the hell it's gonna air, you know.
Yeah, I know. Our episode's gonna drop tomorrow. It's gonna be all about the 3DO and
we had stories, man.
Adam's story is like everything to get a 3DO. You'll hear it tomorrow, but it's amazing.
Yeah. See that is why I prefer. That is why I said my 3DO story is connected to Adam's story, and I'll let Adam go.
Yeah,
because I knew all of this stuff, the shit that he had to go through to get that thing.
By the way, how this all happened was David Gilton, and he was on Twitter. He was talking, hey, we're gonna do the next ARG podcast. We're gonna talk about 3DO. Does anybody actually, do you know anybody's actually played this? I'm like, oh, I know some motherfuckers. You know, so that's gonna be awesome. We'll plug the show again. I just had to throw it out there because that was a really fun show. Anytime I could talk about 3DO and all that other shit, man, I'm already there, man. Because to me, 3DO is like a staple of my childhood just because of these guys, you know. So when I talk to people, it's like, yeah, 3DO is awesome. What the fuck's the 3DO? Like, they look at me like I'm crazy, you know.
You show like somebody like, okay, this is Naughty Dog's first game. It's called Way of the Warrior. It was on 3DO. It's like, what the hell? No, this is not Naughty.
Yep,
this is not Naughty Dog.
White zombie music.
White zombies.
Exactly.
And there's a game even before that one.
No, man. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. This one's kind of funny, right? So Mike Ybarra, right, former. What was his role at Xbox exactly?
He was a VP of Live Services.
Yeah. So a former VP of Live Services, right? He's no longer with Xbox, right?
Yeah, he's with Stadia right now.
So shout out to Kid Smooth, right? We got to do that. Yeah. Hey, listen. Kid Smooth asked Mike Ybarra a question on Twitter. He goes, hey, are you getting the Xbox One X? Something along those lines, right? Or Xbox Series X. I got to get used to saying that. Mike Ybarra responds with, I'm going to get a PlayStation 5, and I'm going to play all my Xbox games on PC. Mike Ybarra said that. Mike Ybarra is not getting a Series X, people. Ain't that ironic, Isn't it ironic?
Who?
Riku, man.
I don't know. It makes you sort of think that maybe that maybe did not have some faith within certain things that were going on over there.
Yeah. By the way, just to get this right, so Kid Smooth asked, which are you buying? He didn't even tag Mike Ybarra. He goes, what are you buying? Xbox Series X or PS5? Then Mike Ybarra responds, because apparently he's a fan of Kid Smooth. PS5 will play Xbox exclusives on PC. I wish they were all on PC, and that kind of goes back, but that goes back to what Mike Ybarra had been saying before. He's like, why aren't PlayStation games on PC? He was talking that shit, so it's just pretty interesting how like the former Xbox executive just came out and say, I'm buying a PS5,
Well, I mean, he's an executive. He can afford a nice PC.
Where's he at right now? Stadia or something?
Yeah, he's on.
He went to Blizzard.
Blizzard.
Yes,
Blizzard.
you're right. You're right.
It's still nothing new because I remember Major Nelson when the PS4 came out. He said he was going to go buy one, and he also bought a Switch, and he played God of War, and he talked about Last of Us on PS3.
But he also owned an Xbox. He owned an Xbox,
yeah. But that was a different time.
Yeah. I also think that I'm sure maybe Mike is more of a PC player, and he may much rather have everything on that thing. I can understand where that idea comes from.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Robert, what's your take on that?
Mike's gonna Mike. I mean, I don't know why he would have gone over. I don't know why he went to Stadia of all places.
He went to Blizzard.
Sorry.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah. If you went to Stadia, I'd be like, why? Well, Blizzard, Blizzard's okay with him on board, but it all goes back to that fanboyism thing. I mean, like, it doesn't matter where you play, just that you play, right? I mean, for all we know, I know people. I mean, hell, I picked up a PlayStation 3 backward compatible just so I could play Marvel's X-Men again. It doesn't matter where you play; just enjoy your games. You really don't have to make it a thing like, well, you're going to get an Xbox Series X. Oh, aren't you getting an Xbox Series X? You're cool. And we're like,
yeah, but you know what it is. It's all that like what side are you on?
I know, right? You have to like gate it. It's sort of like saying, well, you're not a Star Wars fan unless you understand the lore and read all the comics and all that, like that idiot on Twitter did.
Man,
it's stupid. Just enjoy the games. Doesn't matter, if you got a league of people that still play 3DS, hey, good, enjoy it. Boom.
People don't like to do that.
So that's pretty interesting. He just came out and say that a bunch of places picked up on it, but it's nothing. It's not really big. It's just kind of more amusing than anything.
I mean, it is kind of funny, but not everybody really stays on board with system. I mean, what was it? No, it was Howard. What's his name from Nintendo that went over to Stadia? Howard Lincoln, or I want to say it is.
Was it
like? Yeah, Howard. What's his name?
I'm blanking. Yeah, we're all blanking.
Yeah, sorry. Howard Phillips. Howard Phillips.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, he left Nintendo, and now he's doing stuff for Stadia, and he's like, it's the future. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. All right. The next thing I want to talk about, once again, rumors are circling that there's going to be a Switch Pro coming out soon. But this one has a little bit more substance to it because a supply chain company, in Taiwan reports that a new Switch model will enter mass production Q1 2020. But here's the thing. And Chris and I have been talking about this since day one. It's like, this shit is coming eventually. Nintendo always does this shit, Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of time, but so the Pro kind of suggests that it may be more powerful, but we don't know that at this point. I would like that a lot because Switch is pretty underpowered at this point. Also,
this one only has 1 teraflop. So I mean, even if it is more powerful, it's not going to compare to all the craziness. So people shouldn't think that it's going to be like the Alienware UFO.
No. We're going to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a bit. But I will say this though, like, because we talked about this before, like. It's like, okay, Switch is able to port some current gen games, right? What's going to happen when next gen starts at the end of the year, right? They ain't going to be able to port those games, so maybe this will help it kind of port those games. What do you guys think about that?
There's one thing to consider here, and that's storage. Because you realize, like, whenever they try to release more powerful games on Switch, they're pretty big. You know, clocking like 20 gig or 25 gig, or they have like a supplementary download like NBA 2K20 does. But they're talking about a 64 gigabyte cartridge that'll prevent that in the future and will give developers room to spread around and do their work, even if it's on a regular Switch. I mean, take a look at what happened with The Witcher 3: A Wild Hunt. They crammed that thing into 27 gigs, and it runs pretty well for that kind of size. So, I mean, if they can up the cartridge size and not really make it so much about the digital, unless they release like a 1 terabyte card of their own, then, you know, they can really let developers let loose in the games that they want to do for the Switch, for the Switch Lite, for the Switch Pro. So really it's a matter of storage first. And then regarding power, I mean, you want to make sure that the games work on Switch and Switch Pro somehow. So Switch Pro, I mean, you can add like a boost or whatever, maybe a frame rate boost. It's like the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. But you want to make sure that the games still work on the regular Switch. So, I mean, I'm all for seeing whatever a Switch Pro can do, but it really depends on, like, does it give the developers the freedom they want to really make the games they want on Switch? You know, will Activision come back if they can make Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the Switch? You know, there's a lot of questions there, and I'm kind of waiting to see what they say.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the space, I think it's going to be an external hard drive. They're going to have some kind of support where you can play it from there. So
problem is you got to carry it around with the system.
No. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen because they were like, hey, you could do the standard method of what we're doing now, whether it's the 512 or 1 terabyte. I think it supports up to 2 terabytes.
I'm up to it 1 terabyte myself. So
if you have it docked, then you do the dock. You could plug in the external and then have all your games stored there, and then it'll be up to you to swap whatever you want for handheld. But when it comes to the collection, if you want to go pure digital, go ahead, plug in your 8 terabyte.
But the dock would have to have a reader in it. So you're saying they're going to have a reader in the system and in the dock?
It's going to have to, it's going to have to be some special dock that they manufacture to support this. That's the only way it makes sense when you start going to 64 gigs for these cartridges and you want to have that as a digital download version. Come on. It's a lot of space.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're speculating right now, but who knows, you know, what they're going to do. But I definitely
think it would drive the price up. I don't agree with that.
It would drive it up.
Definitely of course.
You know, it's going to be expensive alone upgrading the CPU and then having 4K support.
I don't.
4K? No.
Don't get us confused. It's not going to output games in native 4K, but it's going to be able to upsample certain things.
I got you.
And do UHD streaming, right? So they have Hulu and that stuff. So
you think it'll do 4K? I don't even think it'll do 4K.
No, not rendering. Like it's not like all of a sudden Smash Bros is not going to bump up to 4K. You know.
By the way, because I'm reading this from IGN, Dr. Serkan Toto of Content Game says, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that Nintendo will launch a Switch Pro in 2020. More specifically, I predict 4K support, bigger cartridge sizes, and of course, beefed up components. I guess we'll have to see, you know.
Maybe a better build because it's too easy to crack the back of the Switch. You know what I mean? I got a crack in the back of mine.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, they could change the plastic. I think replacing the railings for the Joy-Con so they don't snap off, because that's the main problem. I mean, that's why the Switch Lite is good for kids now. You drop the Switch like on a solid floor and those rails will crack right off. So maybe something more solid there.
Stronger build, better screen maybe? I mean, there's always room for a better screen, although the one on there isn't.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll have to see about that. All right. Let's get into some more fun stuff. Something related to the Switch. So, Alienware has this new system called the UFO, right? It looks a lot like the Switch. Riku, what do you think about this, man?
I'm ready for it. I'm here. I'll be doing it. I'm all about it.
Yeah, this is coming from Mr. Vita, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know I'm all about the handhelds. Fuck the Switch, though. I'm anti-Switch. No, I'm just kidding. I'm getting it this year. I'm waiting for this. If this Pro thing is real, then I'll hop on that. I'm waiting for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. But this thing right here, though, man, talk about your Steam games portably. I'm playing my shit on the right now. I'm using my GPD Win 2 for Discord, working really well and whatnot. That's where I'm playing all of my PC and emulated games portably. But that thing right there, that looks like a competition for this right here. That looks like a direct competition. Obviously, with that and the Switch with the Switch that basically taking the Switch's like form factor and design choice and literally basically everything that is the Switch. I'm surprised Nintendo they must have some good lawyers to think that they can come out with such a thing to be this similar to, the Switch's build.
I thought they had a patent when it came to the slide.
I was about to say that. You would have some type of patent when it comes to
Nintendo actually kind of ripped off their design off somebody else that came out with something similar before the Switch.
Well, not even that. The sliding controllers is actually a Sony patent.
Oh,
interesting enough, and Sony does not pursue that. Yeah, that they had that idea back in the Vita days, and the patent still exists. So does that mean like this is our? But the thing with building a system around it, that is theirs, right? So that's why those other guys, the medical company that made those that mobile housing that tried to sue them and prevent Switch sales, that's why they lost.
Yeah, because essentially Sony had it.
No, they lost the case because it's just a housing, right? The Switch is a system; it's a full thing. It's it's an entire thing, not just housing for a mobile device, right?
Oh, okay.
So argue that they ripped off that idea.
Oh, so it's kind of like, but like, what about like the situation where like you have like kind of rip off controllers or rip off consoles? Where like, in other words, it's not a rip off, but it's like, in other words, it's a one that you can buy, outside right now, but it's not any way connected to the actual product. Like, you can buy a PlayStation 4 controller that's exactly the same shape as a PlayStation 4 controller. The only difference is,
well, you have to license it. Like all those, like Pelican and all those guys, they just license it, or they make it different enough that they legally are out of problems. Yeah, it's usually like something like 25 to 30% different visually and whatever how it works.
So because I noticed with that Alienware thing is that how like the Switch has like look almost triggers on the back. The buttons layout on the top of the controls are actually quite a bit different.
So you notice how the UFO has this kind of rhombus shape. It's not perfectly rectangular like the Switch. So these are little things they do to try to avoid problems.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
They just sanded off the edges.
Yes, I guess
Can I copy your Homer a little bit?
This is from the press release. Concept UFO features. Remember, people, this is still a concept. It's not like a full retail thing. Concept UFO features an 8-inch screen with 900 by 1200 resolution. It also includes detachable controllers, so you can game in a range of modes as one unit with controllers attached to the screen, separating the controllers and using the kickstand on a surface to game or stream your favorite show. Interesting. Can't do that on Switch. Or connected to an external display and play using the detached controller or a mouse and keyboard like you would a PC. So that's a different feature too.
It's running on Windows.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's using Intel Core, the 10th generation Intel Core processor and Thunderbolt connectivity. Interesting. So this thing's already more beastly than the fucking Switch.
I just find it funny when they said, "Oh well, we have this proof of concept, and we just want to see if there's an interest." Of course, there's a damn interest. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at this thing compared to what they want to compare it to when they were like, "Oh well, it sort of looks like a Switch." Yeah, but the Switch can't do all of this shit.
It's tough because, like, remember the Steam Box thing?
Yeah.
Like Steve thought that was going to be a win right there. You have a PC console size you could put in your living room. They thought that everybody jumped on that. Even there wasn't even an Alienware Steam Box. Everybody was making
so many. That was a problem though. There were so many different versions, and they all had different specs, and then it just got lost in the shuffle. People were like, wait. I want what's the original? What's just the regular Steam Box? Well, they make one, we make one, Alienware makes one. Oh, wait, no. And then they just got lost in the shuffle, and then people just walked away and said, you know what? No, if I'm going to have a box connected, I wanted to be able to play everything, and they couldn't offer that.
And also, like, people following up where Nintendo has succeeded has often failed. Like, where's the Kinect right now? The Move only still exists because of PlayStation VR. So they haven't been able to do that. So a lot of people wouldn't step in that pool like, can we do the Switch? They'd be like, I don't see this working. We're not going to do it. So Dell's got balls to, like, try this.
Oh, yeah. It was. I don't know. It comes down to price. I mean, also price, and then there's a few other things. I have a feeling that whole deal with Steam, that might actually happen. Yeah, the Steam box, all that's done, but still Steam or Epic, I could see that too. Whoever wants to partner up with Dell on this, but there's going to be some kind of proprietary user interface on this thing. Has to be. And I'm sure they're going to be like, hey, how do we lure the gamers in? We can't just say, yeah, it plays your, the best PC game stuff. Yeah, people like to bring the whole ecosystem and all that. So they're going to partner up, and I'm sure there'll be somewhere where you log in and poof, you have the whole interface of like Steam's big picture mode. And then you have that on this device. And
well, you realize
there, all your friends are there.
You realize it's a PC, so people are going to hack that shell immediately and run emulators. And you
that's the first thing I'm going to do.
You have the ultimate virtual console.
I'm just going to, play WWE No Mercy on there. That's it. I probably won't even be playing any of the big games. I just want to see it on that beautiful screen. Oh, that'll be awesome. But
yeah, Robert, what's your take on this thing, man?
I mean, I like the idea of a PC that, doesn't require a gigantic unit to carry around, and that you could slickly play stuff like, I don't know, Wolfenstein 2 and Overwatch, anywhere you want to go, aside from the Switch, obviously. But, I mean, it is a little close to the concept. I'm interested to see what changes they make, what CES feedback they get this week, and what the final model looks like. Because if I were to go after like any sort of PC gaming device again, this would probably be at the top of the list. I like compatibility. I like ease of use. I like being able to take my games on the go or playing them at home. So yeah, I'd probably take a look at it, but I want to see what the final concept looks like.
I want to know how many more of these things we're going to see. How many more companies are going to come out and try to do their own version of this shit.
How about that knockoff one? What was it? The Smitch? Or this
what?
There was a knockoff called the Snitch.
Wow,
or something like that. Yeah, it looked like a really bad knockoff. I don't know. It was just the Nanica Smitch is what they call it.
Wow,
and it's just really cheap looking. Look up Nanica Smitch, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right, I'm guessing
it sounds like a person. I'm Nanica Smitch.
Yeah,
from an Adam Sandler movie. I'm Nanica Smitch.
I'm Nanica Whoopity Doo.
Whoopity Doo.
He sounds like an asshole.
All right, and the last thing on deck at Adam, I'm gonna let you just take this one, man. Arcade 1UP CES news. A lot of shit happened, and you got
my boys.
Yeah, man,
my boys.
A whole lot, and that's the thing. It's like all over the place. There was so much news, and a lot of people had a hard time believing, even beforehand. And Robert, you probably got the same thing. You got that presser, and it said when you start seeing jumbo joysticks and handhelds and stuff, like what the. A lot of people didn't believe it, and it came to pass. They are really expanding. They are bringing. You saw those; those are cute. These little Coleco Atari. It's like a little LCD screen. It looks like a TV. It has a form factor with the controls. It's going to have a bunch of games. You can put that on your desk and just play. That's fun. They have a bunch of Intellivision cabinets, little mini cabinets, handhelds. They're calling them. But you guys remember those when they were around back in the day. You had a whole bunch of them on the desk. So, well, they're bringing that back also with Mega Man and a few others. But again, they said those are going to have multiple games on there. They're all going to be at a budget price from $30 to $50, which is great if they keep within that price range. They also announced a bunch of cabinets, a bunch of revisions of the older cabinets. There was a Golden Tee, which was their golf one. Now this one is going to have a bowling game onto Silver Strike, which was the same game that the creators of Bowling Team made. They announced the 40th anniversary of Pac-Man. No Miss Pac-Man in it. That was the one question to everybody. It didn't matter who it was. I've seen that all of them. All right, is there a Miss Pac? No Miss Pac-Man.
You know who owns that, right? Warner Brothers.
What,
because they bought even though they actually do have a Miss Pac-Man arcade thing here, but Midway was the company that actually made Miss Pac-Man. It was not Namco, and they made that off of something else. So it's a thing that they own. So they would have bought either they would have to talk to Warner Brothers about it to get the license to it, or whenever they decided to pull apart Midway, or Bally's or any of those companies that were connected, whoever owned that after. But apparently they did get it because Arcade 1UP has Miss Pac-Man here as a micro player.
Yeah, but Adam, you got to tell the story, man. That crazy story that happened to you regarding all this.
Shit, man, this was sucking. All right. So So I have an arcade 1-up rep. I'm from the coalition. We deal with them when they send us stuff, and so the normal rep that we deal with passes off my information to another rep, and then at midday Monday he sends me a message like, "Hey, I got some news for you." Like, okay, so he sends over, and it looks like the standard press release for all the stuff for CES. But then I saw these plug and play and the handheld and the jumbo stick. I mean, they call them collectibles. They put it under collectibles. So yeah, they talked about cabinets and the pinball, and the pinball is what I was really excited about because to me that was going to be the big news before I saw this collectible section. So I replied back. I mean, first of all, I looked up online. I didn't see any mention of this stuff anywhere. You know, there was some people talking about, oh well, we know that they're getting into other electronics. They mentioned that, and a lot of people were just thinking, oh well, they're probably going to do marquees or basically a lot of the components that, for example, like what I have back here that we're doing for third party, that they're going to bring that in-house. Which today, John D, Senior VP, confirmed that they will be making backlit marquees for their older console, for their older cabinets, which is great. Who knows when that happens? Who knows? But that's the plan. He wants all of them, all series, to have a backlit marquee. But anyway, so I'm like, I don't see any news about that. I don't see any of the big sites talking about this. So I reply back to him like, is there any embargo on some of this stuff? Because I don't see any. And he's like, no, go ahead. You can write up a review, do whatever you want, just spew it all out. It's fine. You know, he already was pushing the Burger Time, and I knew that one was already posted on their website. So, but to me, it was the collectibles. That was just something. So once I get home, I put together a piece, I put on the website, boom, 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 boom. I say, hey, this is all the stuff that I know about. This is what they confirmed. He did confirm the Zen Pinball deal, and that they were going to have a bunch of games on there, and he did confirm a few other things, but he confirmed all that stuff with the cabinet. That is legit. And so I posted out there, and then a lot of people were like, you know, tweeting and sharing, like, oh, that's cool. And then I had some people hit me up. Fake news, not happening. It's like, oh, you're just putting out clickbait. And I'm like, what? This is not. He's like, no. You know, and there was this one person. I'm not even gonna give him a shout out, but there's a person I know. He's a YouTuber. He's got a good following, and I had copied him on this, and I sent him, and he was like, "Oh, that's not like you to go and start sending, you know, clickbaity stuff like this." I'm like, it's not. No, he's like, well, it's too close to CES, and then I see what you're doing. Hey, whatever you got to do. All right, whatever. So sure enough, you know, now that whole night, I'm pissed off. I could barely sleep because now I'm like, what if this guy was bullshitting me? This rep, I don't know him like I know the other guy. What if this was all bullshit? I didn't talk to anybody else. I didn't contact a workman or anybody and say, hey, that presser, did you see the same shit I saw? I don't know. What if I start doubting myself now? I'm like, yeah, this is up. So then, sure enough, CES starts, and you know, this person I followed, and I see that he's live streaming and he's doing the booth tour. So then I go and I take a look, and I see him. He's doing the whole thing, and then sure enough, the guy David, which is the 1-up rep, says, "Hey, come! I want to take you to look." And he calls it the micro section. He gave it a different name. And sure enough, it was all the little handhelds, the Coleco, the TVs. It was all the other ones and stuff. And the guy was like, oh, wow, this is real. And he just looked at the camera. And I felt like the motherfucker was looking at me. I felt like it was like something on my face. You know, and it's like, it's you know, fine, you can doubt it. Because I just like what we just heard from, you know, a hip-hop gamer about all that stuff. Go ahead, but to then go and say, "Oh, you're making clickbait," you know, come on now, you're better than that. You don't need to go down that road. No, that's not what I was doing, and I even said it even in the PC. Obviously, he didn't even click it. But I said everything I'm talking about here was confirmed. I'm not going based off of the leaked images that we saw with, you know, the buck hunt and light guns. I didn't bring any
Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, the Marvel versus Capcom. I didn't bring any of that shit up. Hell, I didn't even go into depth on the NBA Jam because that was not in the press, so I didn't bother with it. You know, the only cabinets they mentioned in the press for sure was the Burger Time, the Golden Axe, which I'll just get into real quick. There was a Golden Axe Sega collection. It's gonna have 4 games. Shinobi's on there.
Hey,
I'm blowing my Ultra Beast is on there. Wrestle War and Adler. What's blanking on the first word? Dark Adler. What's it?
Yeah, the Black Adder. The Golden Axe 3.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful game. So they mentioned that one, and then they mentioned Frogger, which will have Frogger, Time Pilot, and Time Pilot 84.
You want to hear something fun about that one? When I was working at Konami, that was actually sitting in our in our conference room, just the guts of it, because we had the guys the guy who also does the Contra franchise over there also handles a lot of the licensing for Frogger and a couple of other franchises, and that was sitting in there.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks cool. I feel like it's a little light on the content itself. Like even with the Sega, like I'm glad they're dipping their toes and just doing a full Sega exclusive cabinet for these games, because what I want, and I'm waiting for this, and this is something people gotta go check it out. Retro Ralph, this guy does amazing mods on these arcade one-ups, and he did this. He put a racing wheel on a Daytona with Daytona USA with pedals. And he was playing it. I was like, that's what I want. I want to see a Sega arcade one-up cabin with racing wheel, pedals. I want Daytona. I want Crazy Taxi. I want an Outrun on there. That'll be badass. But it looks like it's going to happen. So, well, not that, but the fact that they have the Sega deal and all the stuff that's going on. Then they went into the pinball. So we have the 2 pinball cabinets confirmed. We have one with the Star Wars. They confirm it's gonna have 10 games on it. Whatever Zen manufactures, that'll be on. Whatever games they decide. Nothing exclusive. No exclusive tables are gonna be made just for this. They confirm that one. Then the Mars Attack machine, which this is when I was kind of upset, because when I did see and Robert, you saw this, when we saw the leaked images, they showed the Back to the Future and Jaws and stuff. I'm like, oh, if only this thing looked like Back to the Future, that would be amazing. But no, it didn't. That's not what they showed. But it's going to have 10 games on it, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to still do the whole deal with Universal. So we'll probably still see some of that. It has Wi-Fi on it, but they said it's only going to be for updates, and I bet it'll probably just be for leaderboards also.
Yeah. See, no, from what I heard, like some of the stuff was behind closed doors. I mean, they didn't say specifically what games, but I have a feeling that's where Marvel vs. Capcom went, because they were checking on feedback for that to see if they were going to include 2, from what I heard. But, I mean, I went ahead and did the report anyway based off the leaked images, and then we had to go back and correct it because it wasn't in the press release. But I mean, considering Marvel Superheroes is one of their best-selling games, it just makes sense to release that Marvel. And Tony was like, "God damn, you put X-Men versus Street Fighter in an arcade game, I'll make love to it," or something like that.
Well, remember, that's what everybody was asking for. Once Marvel Superheroes was announced, they're like, "Oh, then that's it. We're definitely getting it. If you have the license and you're making this, come on, that's a no-brainer."
Yeah, Capcom loves them because Street Fighter sold really well as well.
It's a hot case.
But I'll tell you, I mean, I had to backtrack a little bit because obviously they announced some stuff and they didn't announce some stuff. I mean, the thing that excites me, there are 2 games that stand up for me, and that's the Star Wars sit-down model, because they're trying to go after that crowd that like the old cockpit arcade game.
Yeah.
Because, the stand-up game is excellent. I actually just reviewed it. It's sweet as hell. And then, of course, obviously NBA Jam with online play, because, that's going to – they even brought in, Clyde Drexler to do autographs at CES show floor. And I wonder if he played the game any, because it'd be great to see him just be like, who are you choosing, Charles Barkley? Nah. But, I mean, they've got a great variety of games out there, and I think they're saving up some stuff for E3, because they went to E3 the last couple of years, and I have a feeling that's where we're going to see the Marvel vs. Capcom reveal, as well as Big Buck Hunter. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a light gun game with Terminator 2 and Revolution X.
Oh, shit, bringing it back, man.
If they can get the tech working, as long as it's not like that PDP laser con crap. Make the light guns work, and get a Time Crisis in there. Boom.
Yeah, Robert, tell us about NBA Jam. What's going on with that?
NBA Jam, it's going to be 4 players. It's going to have 3 games: NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and NBA Hang Time. It's going to be able to connect online, so you'll be able to play with other players that have cabinets. And from what I'm seeing, it looks just like the original arcade game. But I'm trying to wonder something here. They said they were going to have the original rosters, but I have a feeling they're not going to get everybody. They're not going to get Jordan. They're not going to get Barkley again. They're not going to get some players there. And I'm also wondering if they talked to Tim Kitzrow, the voice of NBA Jam, so he's back in there as well. You got to have NBA Jam with Tim Kitzrow.
Makes you wonder if they're going to do any new audio. That's the other thing I wonder if.
I hope not, because when you remix it, you can tell. You could just tell the voice is not the same if you remix it. So you got to get Tim Kitzrow back. Come on.
Yeah, man. I want the original, man. Don't mess around. But I understand some players they can't get now. Even back then, it couldn't even get Jordan. It didn't have some crazy or something, Manny.
No, he was never in an NBA Jam game, but they did for any of the sport games that were released, the 2K games back in the day, or the other ones. They always used to put Jordan used to be the roster center.
Yeah, roster center. That's
Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal was another one.
Yeah, he was another one. It was any of the free agents that couldn't be in the games. So that's why when you played NBA Jam, it was Scottie Pippen and it was I forgot who the other one. It was Scottie Pippen and somebody else that were in the game because they were not free agents.
So that version has NBA NBA Jam tournament edition and Hang Time. Never played Hang Time. Not an arcade. I think
it's great. It's a great game. I mean, they ported it really well on Dreamcast. So I mean, like,
that's the Dreamcast one. I actually have that one.
Yeah. Well, it's the arcade port, but I mean, the best port before that was obviously Dreamcast.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's probably the best pick of the bunch there. Although I know a lot of people are going to go after the pinball, they're going to go after the Star Wars. That's Pinball FX3, and they know their stuff when it comes to pinball.
It looks beautiful. I mean, can't wait. So they're talking about $400 to $600 price range for these pinball sets, and probably around holiday season. So it's going to be some time. So people get some time to save up money, figure out what they're going to do, and hopefully we find out more about the tables. And man, I feel like there's going to be some surprises. I get what they were saying with the Wi-Fi, and it's like, oh, it's only be update. I feel as they get closer, or even when they launch, they'll probably have an update and say, hey, by the way, you could expand on these now.
I mean, they're going back and they're correcting cabinets too. Like they're going to get like better joysticks, better spinners, so they have less problems. They'll probably emulate the Rampage Gauntlet game right this time. There's a lot of corrections they're trying to do so that they have less mistakes and so that they have a better reputation. And I'm telling you, once E3 rolls around and they announce that Marvel vs. Capcom and hopefully throw in Marvel vs. Capcom, because that's my jam. X-Men vs. Street Fighter is great as hell, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is my jam. Once they announce that, I mean, it's going to literally take people for a ride.
Oh man, see what you did there.
You gotta keep your eye open.
That's awesome, man. I think we're done here, people. A little bit of an extra long show. It's the first one back in 2020, so that's good stuff. Can't complain about that. And we will, we keep talking about it. Now we're finally gonna start doing it. Probably Sunday. Giveaways, man. There's a bunch of giveaways, man.
Yeah, we got lots and lots of stuff for you guys. I got 4 more Death Stranding posters here for those of you who are fans of that. I have a bunch of old some E3 swag. I have what I call the Throwdown box of swag, which has still been waiting to get to you guys. But yeah, we're gonna start doing more giveaways for you guys.
Yeah, I got some Logitech keyboards for you guys, some 8-bit do shit. Like I got to clear some room in my room, people. It's crazy right now.
You're in a warehouse.
I am. It's nuts. If you guys can see this shit right now, So that's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
Hey, you got my address. What are you talking about?
Right. Hey, Robert, I sent you some stuff before, man.
I know.
Just
messing with you because I can't.
Adam got her.
Tony was freaking Santa Claus getting packages, all kinds of stuff. Like, oh, Manny sending me stuff and all this stuff.
You walking around like ho ho ho, motherfucker.
Yeah. Anyway, Robert, thank you for just jumping in at the last minute. That's pretty cool, man. Please plug your stuff and also plug the next show that's coming up.
Yeah, sure. You can follow our show at our podcast over there at retrozap.com. Our 3DO episode with the part of the Coalition crew drops tomorrow, and we will share all our memories, including shitty games like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. God help us. We are also, you can also find me at twitter.com/thedcd. I'm also doing some videos now, youtube.com/thedcd1. I'm doing videos with our podcast, just doing like stuff I find at the pawn shops and the flea markets, games that I find that I'll have memories of. I'm just starting to do these videos again, and they're a lot of fun. So there you go. And yeah, you can also see my written work at gameper.com. That's GAMEPUR.com. I did like 15 Pokemon stories today.
Oh God, I could imagine.
Oh man.
Got paid though.
Yeah, hey, there you go, man. That's what it's all about. We didn't even cover Pokemon tonight. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, thank you.
Who still plays it? I don't think anyone here still plays it. Carlos a little bit.
Well, 20 million players played across the world. So.
No, I mean, but I know that anyone here that
Carlos, that bet though.
Yeah, man. I was gonna buy 2 copies, but I don't want to lose that bet.
Oh man, when MPDs come, it's gonna be very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes,
that's very interesting.
We'll see. We'll find. Well, maybe we'll find out the mystery of Death Stranding, what it actually sold.
That's the real mystery.
Pretty interesting how Sony hasn't been
millions
talking
of
about
dollars.
that.
Oh, that's true.
It's Death Stranding. Death Stranding, according to Sony, Death Stranding is the second highest PlayStation exclusive, selling exclusive. Now, what was the first one?
Spider-Man.
Days Gone.
Spider-Man.
No, that was this last year. Spider-Man didn't come out last year.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's Days Gone. Days Gone did well, but it didn't do great.
Yeah, I think it sold 5 million last time I checked. Like,
yeah. So
let's say that just to make it sound.
I still haven't played that. I have. I still haven't played.
Yeah, Brian, what happened?
No, they're saying that to make it sound exciting. It's like what other PS4?
They're saying it to sound exciting, but the thing is, what was the last year? What was the other big selling PlayStation exclusive?
I think it was Days Gone. It was Days Gone.
It wasn't Concrete Genie. That game kind of flopped. So it was Days Gone.
Yeah,
Days Gone.
It was Days Gone.
Better than they expected it to do.
That's right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man. Going to be interesting. Remember when God of War came out, right? And Spider-Man, like 3 days later, was like, oh, this is like selling billions and billions of copies, you know? They didn't say it about Death Stranding, you know?
They didn't say that about Death Stranding.
Interesting. All right, man. Anyway, we're out here, man. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. And before we go, game streams are back, people. We streamed just off the cuff. We did some Monster Hunter last week and went off really fucking well. So we're going to do that again Friday and Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be joined by Subgata, my man Sketch, Isaac, and a couple other people. You already know, man. Anyway, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
I'll see you later, guys. And also, don't forget to check our channel because before the impromptu video game session we did, I did a unboxing of this wonderful little arcade cabinet, which is by Replicade.
Nice.
Replicade Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Champion Edition / Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, and it's right here.
Yeah. All right, Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Yo, peace.
Yeah, everyone's here tonight, man. Brett Murdoch.
The real.
All right, Adam Vale.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Brian Manjoma.
Happy New Year. May 2012 be great for the next 10 days.
Oh, man.
2012? 2020.
That's 2020. There you go. Yeah, you went back in time, man. And Robert Workman.
Okay, now Adam's going to have to tell me like how much of his stuff he sold to get that Streets of Rage 2 cabinet.
Yes.
Because I mean, the story the other day, I can't imagine like the blood of 7 children and a turkey.
Well,
Adam has a job now, so he doesn't have to sell.
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with him. I'm messing with it because it was an amazing story. You guys hear it on Friday.
Yeah, it was a story. It's like there is a story with this too, and I also talked about that. This was a project. This was a big ass.
Oh yeah, nice. So
well, I mean, a lot of it is on the coalition.com. You can actually read about it.
There you go. Then I will.
Yeah, Adam's Mr. Retro over there, man. Anyway, we'll see you guys on Sunday for the Run Your Questions. That's coming back as well, episode 266 later.
Yo, man, make sure to leave your questions.
Yeah, leave them. Yeah, start leaving them now, people. Start leaving them now. You know, in the Discord. Go. All right, later.
See ya.
Peace.